lineup, and Ron Fuller earlier this week was asked about the possibility that the former skipper and Gavin Colville, who missed last year's grand final with a shoulder injury, now has a hamstring injury, whether he would come back later in the final series.
We got to worry about this week. I've often said that if we don't win this week, we don't go any further. So it's not just about Gavin, it's about the whole footy club, and we'll sort that out if and when it happens.
Little way down the track there, isn't it? Well, for Mark Micken, former coach of the Eagles, actually, taking on Glenelg this afternoon. They had a magnificent victory, as you mentioned, Chiggy, against Sturt last week by just 1 point. Asked about, well, how do you come down from that game and start concentrating on this afternoon?
Oh, our review last night brought them right back down the ground. Well, you know, when you look at the way we played the first quarter, and you know, we struggled through most of the game really until the last quarter. We started to get a little bit of our game going. I think that was a very grounding experience for them just to watch that last night, because you know we can certainly play a lot better than that.
Well, now down to ground level, Mark Soderstrom joins us as usual in the sunshine, and so does a late change for the Eagles.
It certainly is. And Neil, you talked about history repeating. Well, Ron Fuller has a history of bringing out young players and giving them the chance to play league footy and finals footy. And we've seen it before. He's done it again today. Brad Geddes, 19-year-old, will debut today. He broke his arm in the reserves early in the year, worked his way back into good form, and he will take the place today of Adam Grokey, who jagged his calf at training on Thursday night. So a great opportunity for the young man to make his debut on the big stage. We look forward to seeing him in action.
Looking at the Eagles line up there, they've got a very imposing forward line with McGregor, Schwartz, Salter up there, and Bernie Vince has just been in fantastic form. So the Glenelg on ball is going to have to watch Bernie Vince.
And so does the one change for the Bays as well from last week.
Yeah, well, we knew James Seller wasn't going to play this week with a groin. That's been reported. Just to wait on who was going to come in and who gets their chance. It's Luke Panozzo. Now, he's a young man who is a proven goal sneak. Kicked 6 goals against Norwood in round 9 when the Bays did go down to the red leg. So he has done it before, and well, they didn't play that well last week, Glenelg, so perhaps a little bit of firepower from a small man in Panozzo could help their cause today.
Yeah, Panozzo was good up forward early in the year. We can see there again, we've got Rudolph working hard down the back line normally. I think he will start down there. They've known him half forward here, but with that tall forward line of the Eagles, I think Rudolph will have to go back there. Kirkby was critical last week and will need to stand up again today. And McConnell was a pretty quiet game, will need a big game today.
So there's no run to the beach for you this morning, but certainly it is beach weather.
Oh, it's fantastic conditions. I think the players are going to love this. The crowd certainly will, as it builds up just nicely here for the double-header. Around about 25 degrees, and there is a little bit of breeze just drifting to the left of screen. So an advantage of perhaps a goal or two as we get ready for a massive final.
Players taking up position now, and we're set for a start to this first semi-final. Here's Michael Maney.
Perfect conditions for a final. Umpire holds the ball aloft. The first semi-final underway. Hay, Williams and Joyce to do the business as umpires. Good bounce too. Out of the centre, kick was smothered. Running onto it, Fisher. Left it for Douglas. Tackled the ground by Powell. And a ball up. Richard Douglas, so important for them. Not so much in goals last week, but handy little quick hand pass to Ben Moore for that winning goal to keep them alive for another week. Scrimmage of players as they sort themselves out. Chiggy, looks like Rudolph's gone back. Hinge is still going to play back on Salter, so a couple of good moves, I think, by the Bays.
Yeah, you would have always thought Rudolph was going to start back, maybe throw him up forward later, and we've got Sherwood on McGregor, as was sort of predicted earlier.
Still just a rolling scrum as they sort themselves out. No side prepared to give an inch. No one's got a break. There's Trevor Cranston. So important in the ruck for them. 121 hit-outs this year. Shared the ruck duties with Daniel Kirk, who, amazingly to me, Chiggy's only played the 9 games for this year. Has been in and out of this Bay side, but geez, hit some good form at the right time of the year.
He certainly has. He's an athletic guy. His form hasn't been brilliant all year, though, and I don't think he was great last week, so he'll be looking for a big game today.
Gee, it's been a non-event so far as they just continue to slide their way forward, Glenelg. They're just not able to get a break here at the moment.
I think the Eagles will certainly try to do what Sturt did last week. Don't let Glenelg get their run going. That's where they're really damaging. At the moment, they'll be liking this. They'll be tough and hard in the bottom of the packs.
We'll get another ball up. It hasn't escaped from the centre square just yet. interesting to note behind the play, Ben Mule's loose, it would seem, in the forward line of the Eagles. So he's loose man in defence for the Bays at the moment as Douglas shuffles the ball inside forward 50. Pedler read it first. No, it's Jared. Off the left foot, favoured by that floater of a kick, floating towards the boundary line. Marnie with the punch. Now Fiacci. Kane is loose. And immediately he looks inboard, goes to Cranston, who's set upon by his direct opponent in Lindsay, knocked away. The Bays spring it, and if they spring it, they will run. Here's Mules, who was loose at half-back, who's now at half-forward. He's called to play on, and Sugars is loose inside the 50. So he waits. Ruoff gives him a lead. He's ignored that. He's waiting still. Kirkby goes, and he still waits. He's into what breeze there is, so he's waiting for the lead. Vince read it. Maybe got a hand to it. Powell gathered. Now Stewart, and they work the ball at the back, finally to Hire. He can come this grandstand side, and that's an awkward kick, and already maybe the skill's just not quite there on task for the Eagles. Backwell picks it up, was met solidly, and we'll get a throw in, and it's on, and Brett Backwell, feisty little man, the McGarry medalist of last season, not appreciating that little shove.
Pretty good for them last week. Back also to Treby, who had to be taken off, and he's come up this week. Been pretty sore. Free kick there, high bump on Lomas. Just they were cracking through. Fiacci tried to go on with the business. Lomas called to play on. Off kick smothered. Just didn't get back on the mark far enough, but he's lucky enough to get another crack at it. Wobbled a kick toward the wing. Backwell couldn't take the mark through his fingers. Sikalala, handy little handball. In fact, it was Vince to Fiacci. Salter shrugged the tackler. Cooper, kick smothered. Gee, it's been a hot contest so far. Cooper, handball to Vince. Vince tries to step around Allen. That's no mean task if he can do it. Kick forward, high ball. Schwartz at the back. Recovery good. Can he push off? Left foot up. Snaps. It looks good. It looked very good. And Schwartz, who booted free last week, gets the first goal of the game. And he's a pretty handy big man.
Well, as we mentioned, they've got a pretty handy big man all the way up forward there. As we can see, Bernie Vince again getting a bit of the footy early. Going to have to watch him. They're going to put someone right on him, I reckon. Schwartz jumps at it, uses his body very well, and then finishes off with a great goal. Mentioned Schwartz, McGregor, Salter. It's going to be a big task for the Glenelg backmen. They can't allow Vince, these type of players, to be running through the midfield and getting the delivery in there right. There's got to be the pressure through the midfield.
It wasn't pretty and it wasn't controlled, but nevertheless, it was effective. And now Allen comes the other way, turns it over. Sikalala quickly for Schwartz on the lead. Two hands, umpire call play on through McGregor's legs, and now Fisher clears for the Bays and just keeps it inside the boundary line. So does what's happening down there on the Bays bench.
Big Daniel Kirk there on the left. We can see he'll come and do a bit of ruck work. Byron Murphy, the former Frankston Dolphin. Luke Panozzo, who's come into the side today in favour of Sella, who's out with a groin.
Salter just scrambles a kick forward again. McGregor goes towards it, and he just allows Simmons to take it for the Eagles. And he's about 30 metres from goal, and on, well, not a desperately hard angle, and with the breeze, you'd think it'd favour him. So Simmons got a good angle on this one. Watch it go. Starts it out to the left and brings it back beautifully. The Eagles have two.
Good mark there by Simmons, running back into the flight of the play there. You see it here. Glenelg just making some mistakes under pressure there. Just a quick kick in by Salter there. Great grab, didn't know what was coming other way. Finished off with a very good goal for Simmons. Glenelg need to tighten up. They can't let the Eagles get away to a real flyer. They'll be very happy with what's happening at the moment. Ronnie Fuller and the Eagles team.
Good kick by Simmons. A couple of goals early. It was a bit of a scramble. Ball ricochet from the Powell kick. Ruwalt's in front, just tracking the football. Tracking him was Fiacci. Going in hard was Allen. He's a tough nut, Allen. And he somehow found some space and brilliantly got the handball to Kane. Wonderful play by Allen. Bad bounce. Ball knocked out. Backward. Quick hands. As usual, Fisher. He'll size it up. Kicks forward. Kirkby's in the vicinity, but Pedler in front. Needed a shepherd. Here comes Sikalala. Doing some good work was Douglas. Just ran onto the football. Used Marnie. Marnie over the top. with a handball to Ruwalt. Ruwalt wants to straighten it up. Goes to the square. McConnell can't take the mark. A big fist comes from Zach Hire. Wonderful young player. Just a good contest, wasn't it?
Very good contest. Other end of the ground, Glenelg, they haven't got any really big gun forwards like the Eagles have, so they're going to have to get the delivery right, create a bit of space for the guys to lead into.
Glenelg without a goal. Eagles have got a couple on the board. Here's McConnell. Can he kick one around the corner? It's a pretty high ball. It floats, and there's a couple of players there, but the ball's knocked away. Treby runs onto it. Moore's right with him. Treby does well to get it to the line. McConnell, not enough hook and not enough length on the kick. Just a big high wobbler.
Look here, both the Glenelg players going at the footy. But just a very good punch away by Powell there.
Vince, was he taken high? No, he wasn't. He was caught holding the ball. Now it's come loose. Are they going to call advantage? They are. Douglas shoots the goal. The Bays had their first of the afternoon while we were looking at that replay. They allowed it to go on.
I have to say Bernie Vince might have been a little bit stiff there. There didn't appear to be a lot of prior opportunity, but they have been pretty hot on that through this final series. Richie Douglas has had a pretty good start to the game, had some pretty important touches, and I did miss it, but must have been the man who kicked that goal.
There he is, the number 35. Like I mentioned earlier, not so much in goals last week, but those quick hands, very smart player, set up a lot of good play for them. The Bays get there first through Richie Douglas, goal number 18 for the season. Now we've got a blood rule, and the big man, Lindsay's got to come from the ground, and also Fisher, so a double blood rule going on here.
Not a problem really for the Eagles, Michael, because Brad Dabrowski was just getting ready to come on and replace Lindsay in this first term. So what, about 8 minutes in, so that's about a standard change for the Eagles anyway. Fisher's got a little bit of blood just coming out of the nose, so he'll get that cleaned up. Byron Murphy coming onto the ground, a man who's just adjusting himself in SANFL footy after crossing over from the VFL.
He's been good for them. Pretty hard nut. Murphy back in the centre. Bays have their first goal on the board. Can they get another? Salter taking the ground. Free advantage will not play because the hack out of there came from Jarrett, but Salter will get the free kick right in the centre of the ground. Only a couple of behinds last week, Nick Salter. We know he can kick multiple goals, and he uses it well and finds McGregor. McGregor thought about giving it off by hand. Back to Salter, decides to go laterally, so some good running on the outer side done by Stewart. This is Stewart, who's been good for them. In short, half-distance kick is poor. Taken by Kane, who gets it to Murphy, gets his first taste of the first semi-final. Murphy drills a low kick. No mark taken by Smith. Mules is there. Knocked it back. Kane's got to get involved here. Does. Can he bounce out of it? Oh, how did he get rid of it? Backward with some assistance. It's a pretty hot football out there at the moment. Simmons, good-looking kick. Good vision. Found Fiachi in the centre. Goes to his fellow left-footer in Jarrett. Jarrett's kick. Here's a wonderful kick. Oh, and an equally wonderful chop-off by Holmes, who's playing pretty good football. Lomas got the handball out, but Douglas intercepts. A couple of wonderful bits of play, Nick Chigwin, along with a couple of poor disposals.
Certainly was a bit of a mixed bag there. We saw Douglas just slip at the wrong stage. Couldn't get away. Here we go. Bit of blood coming out of the nose there. Getting it fixed up.
It's Fisher and Ruwalt in the pad through the ball. Umpire will bring it back and reward the tackler.
Opportunity, didn't handle it. Here you go, Kit. Here it is.
Cooper will take it.
Clear it out, boys. Everyone out.
Yeah, he had the opportunity. Matty Cooper, well, it looked like a handball to me, but Cooper
You got 1 metre.
will take the free kick inside 50. Schwarz with the lead. That's the target. Rudolph with a nice punch away. Numbers at the fall of the ball. Big collision. And he might be out cold, Ben Mules. He's being hit hard, and he is down and out for the count.
He was a tough man, Benny Mills. It was great commitment by both players there, just attacking the football. But he is certainly in a bit of trouble there, Benny Mills. Look at this, both players free.
Deja vu.
We've got a bit of biffo happening out there as well. Nothing in that, though. It was just a great contest by both players. Benny Mills came off second best there. Good luck, we're hoping it'll be just winding, no breaking ribs or anything like that, but it was a good hit.
It looked like a straight head clash with
It might
Simmons.
have been a head clash there.
And so Mules is down, and I think the players just trying to keep warm with a bit of push and shove. Doesn't seem much in it, although it is a Glenelg free kick coming out of that. I heard one of the umpires just say, and now it's 50 metres. Richard Williams is taking control. And we did see this last week in this Sturt game where 50 metres were coming out of incidents like this.
The reserve umpire out there, Tim Pfeiffer, as well. It's a bit of deja vu. Tristan Gunn, Luke Crane last week. Head clash.
Bang, you're
Bingo.
right. There it is. Big head clash. Benny Mules in a bit of strife there. Just got him right on the side of the head there.
And as he's hit the ground as well, the head takes a crash. Have a look at this. Bang.
Great commitment by both players there. Nothing in that at all untoward. Look at Benny Mules. He's certainly having a bit of a little sleep there, I think.
Michael, while that's all gone on, Adam Fisher's had his nose cleaned up. That's plugged with tissues at the moment. He's gone onto the ground. Ty Allen having a break for him, and with Benny Mules just in transit at the moment on the stretcher, Panozzo is onto the ground.
Well, it's going on everywhere because on this side of the ground, as we're watching the stretcher come off, a little bit of tete-a-tete between Bernie Vince and Ben Kane. Now, Mules, as you can see, is awake, but I don't know if he's got all his faculties in place. Now, remember, that was at half-back at the scoreboard end of the ground as Tim Pfeiffer, keeping an eye on things, backing off towards the bench. That incident happened down at half-back for the Bays. At the scoreboard end, the ball's been advanced and a free kick to Ruwalt, and now he's at half-forward for the Bays. And Mules coming off the ground. We don't like to see that happen to anybody, but, gee, become a regular occurrence in the finals.
Oh, gee, the way Luke Crane was able to come back on and still be productive last week, which let's hope that's a good sign for the Bays with Ben Mules.
And Michael, just as Ben Mules receives the applause from the crowd, coming onto the ground, a man for his first game for the Eagles, Brad Geddes, number 12, 19-year-old who learned his craft at Henley. He's just come onto the deck now, Sikalella having a break. Benny Mules, good news is that he's just moving around there on the stretcher, raised the head, so he does look like he's regained consciousness, and of course they'll take him downstairs and have a bit of a check and just see how serious that head clash has been for him.
He's certainly a hardened-up Benny Mules. There's no doubt he'll be trying to get back out there as quick as he can.
Monster headache at the moment.
I would think so.
Durable player. He's played all 21 games for the Bays this season.
Okay.
And led from the front. Certainly led with his head then. So game continues. Ruwalt to take the free kick. Obviously, all the players in front of him because it's a chance for the Eagles just to flood forward, and that's what's happened. He's called the play on and has to just belt it along and hope for a Mark Smith to target. The punch comes. Strangely enough, it was straight off Simmons' head. Now Fisher, tackled brilliantly by Stewart. McGregor was in there. Jared clears, pulled the kick nicely. No. He was looking for Schwarz. He got more for the Bays, who handballs inside 50. Jared keeps the ball in. Now works the 1-2. And another hand pass off to Cooper. Down the centre wing, 2-on-1. It favours the Bays, and Sherwood, the veteran, takes the mark.
Sherwood goes to half forward. They're queuing up. Here's McConnell. He's dangerous. He loves to get around, do some footwork. He'll need to get rid of it. He goes for Cranston. Poor option. He couldn't get there. Coming back is Geddes. Good bit of play from the youngster. Calm. Dabrowski away to McKenzie. Eagles out of trouble momentarily, and it'll only be momentarily as Sherwood does the business on McGregor once again. Had the slip. He's got Kane laterally, and in comes Salter, but knocks Sherwood off the kick, and it's poor. And it's been taken by Dabrowski. Dabrowski's got Vince at half back. Eagles just trying to steady things down at the moment. High kick. Schwarz has the run on Murphy. Murphy did okay, stood his ground. Then rows the ball. Gets tackled. Slipped it away to Kane. Kane's kick is poor off the instep. And just turning it over to Vince, who started this game a little bit better than last week. He was a bit down last week, Bernie Vince. If he can have a good game, the Eagles could get up. Here's Cooper. Strong centering kick at the back. Oh, just about a mark. Taken by Simmons. Ball flicked away. Holmes. Geez, a cool, calm head for a young kid. Away to Kane. There was a free kick in there. Oh, McGregor couldn't get it. Poor kick by Kane. Murphy's got to do some work around a couple. Backwell, handball inboard. Gee, Rudolph couldn't quite get it. It was a poor handball, but Cranston got it back to Ruwalt, who got it back. So here's Holmes. Away to Fisher.
And Fisher's kick inside 50 goes for McConnell. Wants to get his man under the ball. Got him away from it, but well done by the Eagles defence again. And it was Redden who started it and finished it with the outlet ball for Fiacci. Chased by Backwell, who's still chasing Lomas, who gets the kick away inside 50. Great pressure from the McGarry medalist. The kick was astray, and now back the other way through Sherwood come the Bays. He goes for Kirkby, and too much width on that ball. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go to Hire for the Eagles. Zach Hire trained with Richmond, had a bit of a pre-season before Christmas. That's a long time ago, and it must seem so. There was a push in there now. McGregor will take the free kick for the Eagles. McGregor, 17 possessions, 7 marks and 2 goals last week. Ball punched down inside the forward line. Cicolella usually clever. Oh, he's surrounded, dropped it. Umpire said play on. Here's Powell, couldn't get loose. Forced the hand pass to Salter. Marnie with the tackle. It goes free towards the ball, towards the line, and in the end, a high tackle. One too many for the Bays to make successfully. Play on, Simmons goes backwards. And now Powell takes the mark. He's just inside 50, but with the breeze, you fancy he might make the distance here.
He's certainly got a bit of a breeze in his back there. Eagles do look dangerous when they go forward. They've got so many options. Glenelg's back line has held up pretty well. A lot of pressure at this stage. Sherwood's looked good.
This is the view from the Chapel stands. And Powell, who's kicked 5-7 for the season, so that suggests he's more a chance to do that, kick a minor score.
Certainly been a lot of pressure early in this game, both teams. Not a real tidy, skillful game, you wouldn't say, but as we saw last week, this finals pressure does affect the school level.
Here goes Lomas with a long kick. Is another behind. So it took 10 minutes for a score. Then we have one within 20 seconds, another one within 20 seconds.
So here's Hinge running for the Bays. On a loose hand pass, Geddes almost got gifted his first kick on a plate, and finally the umpire called holding the man about 5 or 10 seconds after it happened. Now the Bays are away. Moore can run. The veteran who kicked the winning goal last week for the Bays, he ran a long way, didn't he? Umpire thought about it. He gave it then to the Queenslander and Sherwood, who gave it off then again to Smith, who finds Douglas at half forward right for the Bays. Douglas waits, McConnell comes on the lead, and he goes for McConnell, who's lost his man, and Jarrett goes back bravely in front and takes a good defensive mark for the Eagles. Approaching time on in the opening quarter. It will be a long quarter because, of course, Ben Mules taken off on a stretcher for the Bays.
Injury concern also crossing for the Eagles now. Matty Cooper just coming off with the right shoulder. He's protecting that, and the medical staff are having a look at him now. So obviously Mules off for Glenelg and Cooper now for the Eagles.
Thanks, Mark. There's been plenty of physical treatment being dished out there, although the Mules one was just one of those things that happen in football, an accident. Let's hope he can get back on. Fiacci's kick. McGregor's in the middle of this pack. Knocked away by Cranston to the line. Good, strong play as Cranston makes his way to the bench after knocking that out of bounds. And Kirk will come off. Bernie Vince also off for the Eagles.
Certainly going to be a lot of interchange action today, you'd think, with this warm weather. They want to make sure they keep the legs fresh for late in the game.
Dabrowski just got it down to the advantage of Backwell. The handball to Ruwalt wasn't a good one. He's got some work to do against Jarrett. Got it away to Allen. Backwell kept running. He'll kick it inside 50. He'll look for a target at the back. Free kick against Sugars. Will be taken by McKenzie. Just a little nudge in the back.
Certainly where Glenelg is having a breakdown. Benny Mules, we can see there running around. The Glenelg supporters pretty happy with that, as we see 50 metres here.
Well, 25, unless
25,
real
yeah.
estate's really expensive today. Here's Cicolella, centre wing for the Eagles. And he just takes his time. The Eagles don't mind this. They play this game. Powell inside the centre square. Now he goes towards centre wing and kicks long. Big Lindsay lurking. Couldn't get over the top of Kirk. Ball to the front. Lomas with a chance. Shut down brilliantly by Fisher. It'll be play on advantage. Ruwalt collects it to Rudolph. Rudolph's got nobody to kick to in front of him. Clever. He's tracked by 3 Eagles. He does well. And brilliantly almost tackles Pedlo, who comes back record game. Weight of numbers finally told. Now it goes forward, and that'll be Rudolph, who made the mistake of knocking over Geddes slightly after he kicked. So the kick downfield for Treby for the Eagles. Treby puts it out in front of Schwarz, who's by himself and takes the easiest of marks. And that was Rudolph's man, and Kane just couldn't go with the pace of Schwarz, trying to cover for the fact that Rudolph was caught on centre wing.
Bit stiff there, Rudolph. He worked really hard against 3 opponents. Maybe possibly slightly late, but probably a bit tough.
Schwarz, you could say, took a little while to adjust to SANFL football, but has 45 goals for the season now. And now he adds to his tally of 18 behinds.
Eagles letting Glenelg out of jail a bit here with missing some easier ones early in the game, but still looking very very dangerous as they go forward, whereas Glenelg certainly struggling as they go forward.
Now, Glenelg won the toss. They kicked into the breeze, it looks like, in the opening term. Thought process there, Chiggy?
Well, perhaps they thought, let the heat get out of the game a bit, let the game settle down, and they'd be able to make more advantage of the breeze in the second term. So at this stage, you'd say the Eagles probably haven't used it as well as they could have.
Ben Mule's in the middle, just getting to his feet, got a football in his hand. Be pretty keen to get back on there by the look of it. He was down and out. Fisher's handball. They were just holding on to him after he released the football.
It's Ben Kane.
In fact, it's Kane. There's Mules taking a seat. Looks okay there for no blood. Seems to be
maybe a little bit fuzzy inside.
Just feeling a bit off colour. Kane. Long kick, close to the line, stays in. At the back, Stewart had nowhere to go, ran into a wall of Glenelg players. And Hire grabs his man in Allen and takes him to ground for another ball up.
Big quarter for Ben Kane, boys, 9 possessions already.
Michael, probably worth mentioning too, with Benny Mills off, I think the rules here in the SANFL is if you carried off on the stretch, you have to remain off the ground for 20 minutes. So he would certainly probably sit here until quarter time.
Thanks, Mark. Fairclough to Lomas. Lomas's wobbly ball. Where Schwarz? There he is. Oh, gee, he's leading them a merry dance back there. And Rudolph is just finding it a bit difficult to go with Schwarz at the moment. He did get caught out on the wing here before, couldn't get back, but gee, on the lead, this man's got some pace and athleticism.
He is quick, and as we mentioned earlier, that's why the pressure's got to be coming through the midfield there. Rudolph's fast himself. There's probably not too many other options Glenelg can go with. Maybe a Sherwood across there.
That's right, the midfield is the key. Now, what's he learned from his last kick? Gets it high. And overcompensates on the right-hand side after hooking to the left last time. So some opportunities going begging here for the Eagles.
Absolutely. He's leading really well. The delivery's been great to him, putting Rudolph under extreme pressure. Just not hurting Glenelg at the moment, kicking the goals. Still a handy 10-point break late in this quarter.
Well, we've got this theme of history never repeats, but I'll tell you what, there is a feeling of deja vu. Sturt 3-5, Glenelg 2 points in the opening quarter last week, a 21-point lead for Sturt, and the Bays came back, and here they are running, and McConnell overruns the ball. Now Fiarchi the other way for the Eagles, goes long and direct, and Hinge, good hands. Out to Backwell, Salter closed him down, looked like it was high. They have the numbers, the Bays, and Sherwood. Oh, he's in trouble, he's gone. He's gone. And Treby will take the free kick. They did have 3-on-2 here, and they just didn't get away.
No, I think the hands earlier from Backwell weren't brilliant. Backwell getting a lot of the footy, but a couple of his handballs have missed the body at this stage, putting pressure on his teammates. Needs to just make that a bit cleaner.
Gee, you lose a bit of morale if you're an Eagles player if Treby doesn't kick this. They've had some opportunities.
Absolutely, they could certainly have the game a lot tighter in their grasp if they'd kick straighter.
Round 23, he had 27 possessions and 9 marks against the Bays. A carpenter by trade, he's constructing a lead for the Eagles.
Yes, Treby, before he go back and kick that one, they certainly needed this setter, as you mentioned, Michael. They had plenty of pings at goals, not being as good as they had. Here we see the hands, Backwell, slight slip, did get a knock there by Salter in that stage, so it probably wasn't as Backwell's fault as much in that case. But Sherwood, not a lot of options to go to. Should have, in hindsight, probably just kicked it long and tried to get it out of the area.
Wayne Wiedemann would love that, another left footer kicking a goal. 3-4, plays one straight. Second ball up, coming up, unless Lindsay can get out of there. It's not a bad feat to take him to ground. Lomas, wobbly kick, in front McGregor. Sherwood with a handy fist. Jared on a full head of steam. Backwell was important. Got it out. His handball misses the target again. Umpire blew his whistle, I thought, but away it goes to McGregor. Fiacci, good tackling by both sides there, hard on the body. Allen got a handball away. Panozzo, his first real touch. Kick to the wing. Over the back, Sugars couldn't get it. Powell to Geddes. McKenzie, oh, just touched the ball in one hand. The kick. Jared tries to use his body. Kane was there. Jared's composure was good. We know he can kick well on his right boot. Spears looking for Treby. Will he kick it all on? It bends back. Oh, yes, indeed. Lee Treby, you star. He's got a couple. Eagles out to 22 points, but boy, oh boy, that's about the goal of the final series so far.
Certainly did that. Jared used his body really well. You can see that here. Held Kane out. Just allowed the footy to fall into the space and run onto it. Turned back around. Composure. Found it. Didn't find the body with the kick, but Treby just fantastic snap from that pocket. Certainly not easy. On his left foot there, though, he finished off beautifully. Glenelg trying to be a little bit too cute with some of their hands. I think they just got to get move it out of the centre as quick as they can.
Well, they won't get a chance here. First up, Lomas puts the Eagles into attack. Fairclough with the hand pass. Great tackle from Holmes. Now Vince is taken to ground. And that was clever from Backwell. Knew McConnell was there. And Micken has decided to put McConnell into the game earlier this week rather than leave him isolated in the forward line. It's at half back, and they're working hard, the Eagles, through Stewart. And he goes out to centre wing, and they have the player there loose in Schwarz. A long way from home. Schwarz chips. Now it's on centre wing proper with Fairclough, and that'll be 25. Fisher held him up after he took the mark, and the umpire pointing out you were not in the contest.
It's a good sign, Neil, there for the Eagles. Matty Cooper's had that right shoulder strap, perhaps a little bit of medical intervention. He's back on, ready to go, and Brody Lomas just having a spell.
Keep coming.
So Fairclough goes long and direct, and Lindsay the target in the middle of the pack. I think he got a big paw to it. The umpire called play on. Now it's in tight, and it might have been Treby. It is Treby who's taken the ground. We'll get a bounce 20 metres out from the goal. Paul Sherwood not in a position of dominance then with Treby over him. Here's a quick look at Cooper. Now stoppage play. Panozzo gathers to Hinge. He'll want the boundary, you think. He hooks it around further than that for Kirkby. And the master this afternoon has been McKenzie. Jared tried to take it over the top and got smashed. And we'll get a ball up.
Thanks, guys.
Telling the umpire too. I think I copped a whacking on the way down. We might just catch it here. No, we don't. Not quite. Holding the ball. Free kick will go to the base. Douglas with the man at half-back. Gee, Glenelg can't afford to give up a big lead to the Eagles. They had to come from behind last week. They got about 30 points behind and managed to win. They wouldn't want to try and do that 2 weeks in a row. It takes a lot out of you. Here comes Allen. Allen's kick, looking for Sugars, but gee, Geddes is the better of those two young tyros. Finds a man in Schwarz, who's just gone back just for a few brief moments. Kicks long. Kane in front. That's a spectacular mark in front by Kane. Gee, he's been good early, Kane.
He's been good. He had a quiet week last week. He's been great for Glenelg all year. Obviously set himself for a big game today.
Here's the man that sets up most of the attacking moves. Backwell to Douglas. Oh, brick wall stuff. Managed to get the handball away to Moore. Moore's high kick. A real floater. Stand under that one. McKenzie with the thump away. Gee, he's been good, McKenzie, in that first quarter.
I think that last passage of play really sort of what's happening in the game at the moment. You can see Glenelg 1 goal to the Eagles, 4 goals for. They've got no real options when they go forward. I think Mark Micken's got to have a look at what he can do there.
So quarter time here in the first semi-final, and again the Bays find themselves under pressure. It's the Eagles 4-4-28, a 22-point lead over Glenelg. 1 goal straight, 6 points. Now to Michael Money for the second term.
22-point lead to the Eagles. Just the one goal in that first term by the Bays. Treby a couple. It's been a pretty good start for Woodville West Torrens. Out of the centre they get it. Lomas. Wonderful smother on the outer side by Cranston on the Fiachi kick. Back well to Ruwalt, who takes a bounce on the outer side wing. Got some wonderful shepherding by Backwell. High ball, pack mark, not taken. In goes Pedler, taken to ground. Kirkby's there. Umpire says it flicked out the back. Keep it going. Jared lost possession. Well done, Fisher. Kick in by Allen. High. Sikalala at the back. Oh, Douglas. He's normally clever in this situation, but he's suffocated by Pedler. And a ball up.
Just a little fumble on the wrong side there. But here we see the smother. Fiachi, Trevor Cranston. He's a big man. He's taken the ruck, then worked hard to go and do the smother.
Big long arms. Big Trev. All knocked down. You just heard the call there. Rush it, rush it. And it's rushed through for a behind. But Glenelg doing the early tackling, doing the early scoring, and 17 to 15 inside 50, so it's pretty even. But you just got the feeling in that first term, Chiggy, that the Eagles just made the most of their forays forward.
They certainly did, and even just then early in this second quarter, both the entries, or the entry in there was a long bomb, making it hard for the Glenelg forwards.
The breeze didn't seem to be much of an influence on that kick. Cranston scrambles the ball to a 2-on-1 inside 50, and Marnie takes the mark. Well done by McConnell.
Marnie pretty quiet in the first quarter, only had the one hand pass. We saw last week he kicked a couple of really important goals when it mattered. Just read across again, Trevor Cranston, I think it was. Yep. Kicking there, getting it in quick as we mentioned, just a bomb, but Marnie playing in front, lining up for a pretty important goal.
Kicked it from this end too.
16 goals for the season for Josh Marnie, who's stuck on 97 AFL games. But an SANFL premiership is still a possibility.
Oh, it certainly is, and if he has an absolute blinder today, you never know, he might get pulled up for the power, but you wouldn't think so. Here we go, read it beautifully, just drifted across in front. McConnell just a slight bit of pressure there as well, just to help Marnie have no real body contact in taking the mark in contest. Glenelg certainly needed that. They need to pull another quick one, couple of quick ones in here to get right back into this game.
That's Glenelg's first mark inside 50 for the game, boys.
It's a good point, Chris, that they have struggled in the area inside 50. Back in the centre, 15 points the difference. Allen to Moore, who's kick around the body, looking for Kane. Another possession to him, who must be one of the biggest ball winners, and we'll get those from Chris in a few moments. Oh, Mackenzie! That is a spectacular mark. Just hooked it in with one hand and caressed it to the other. Man, this is just majestic stuff from Mark Mackenzie.
Yeah, he's a big man, he plays well, he's had a great year.
Might have balanced it on the forehead just to boot. Jared's kick forward. Well done, Moore. Hinge. Over the top, that's a poor handball. Jared's got another go at it. Loads it up inside 50. Simmons in front. No mark. Where are the Crummers? Sherwood's there. Pack develops and a ball up. Some of the major ball winners in that first term.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. For the Eagles, Lomas and Jared 9 apiece. Vincent Fiachi 7 apiece. For the Bays, Backwell 11. Only one of those is a kick, however. Kane 10, Douglas 8.
Eagles in attack. Knocked forward by Lindsay. And Holmes is wrapped up straight away, and the umpire now will call for the ball. 25 metres out, straight in front of the posts for the Eagles. Great position to attack, especially when your ruckman is Bruce Lindsay. That's going back. Paul Lindsay. I don't get it though. Ruwalt does. He's in trouble. Somehow released it. Backwell off the ground, was content to hack it towards the boundary line. Kirkby, he hasn't seen much of it either. Released the hand past Ruwalt, and he wanted the boundary line as well in the tackle. Sodas.
Well, good start for Glenelg in this term. At quarter time, Mark Micken was very concerned with their defence, very disorganised. Also, the midfield believed they were just holding the ball a little too long and not giving out that first handball. The third concern he had, of course, Lee Treby, 2 goals from the wing. The Eagles used their wingers probably better than anyone in Lee Treby and Luke Jarrett, so keep an eye on him.
Comprehensive as ever, Mark, as Backwell goes forward. Then Mackenzie, who's been a star so far, really good. Away goes the Eagles. Here's Holmes. Wonderful tackle by Cooper, and he'll be rewarded. And just gives him an edge. So the advantage rule was played. I don't know how much advantage it was. Away it comes back to Lomas. Lomas's kick. It might bounce through. No, it won't. And Sam Rudolph decides to rush it through for a behind.
On the rebound, straight away, Pinozzo. So they try and switch play the Bays. They will be closed down this afternoon. The question is, can they open up the game enough to make their runners work?
We've seen already they're really flicking the hand passes around in some cases, too much so, causing mistakes, but it is the only way they're going to create that run that really they need to do to win this game of football.
Chig, as a former Tiger, you'll be very happy to know that the interchange shield has just given the Bays the all-clear to let Ben Mules back on the ground. He served his 20 minutes of game time.
It will be interesting to see now how long he stays off before they bring him on. You'd imagine you get him on quick. Sorry.
High for McGregor, ball punched down. Schwarz did the roving. Holmes with the tackle, good from the young man. Now it's in tight again. Hinge, released to Rudolph. Finally they get it quick away. He just goes for space. It's at half forward for the Bays quickly. It's bouncing in space and Pedler did well to shepherd it. Powell came in to help him out. Now they can go to the corridor. Dangerous, he's turned it over. Allen, they've got runners. Fisher to his left. He sees him. He tries to put it into space though for McConnell. Oh, were the arms taken away? No. Fisher tackled, released to Kirk. Goes back for McConnell. Higher says, good stuff. I'll just knock it towards the line. Redden who threw it, and the umpire said it was out before he did. That tap on looked like an absolute throw as we just have a look, and Murphy coming onto the ground, and Allen, the grunt man as we've called him for the Bays, just taking a rest. Hurled back into play the ball. Douglas, oh gee, played that for all it was worth, and he got a free kick. So Richie Douglas. McConnell, he's got 5 metres on his man. Douglas ignores him. Instead, opts for the long kick. He backed himself and he gave it to Lindsay with the long kick. There wasn't anybody really up there to pull down a mark. Lindsay was opposed to the very shorter opposition of Marnie.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a strange option, I thought, then, because out of McConnell and a few leading, then Douglas decided to put it in long, and Lindsay was the only really man there. So I don't know if it was the best decision to go long, but Glenelg got away with it behind anyway.
Not sure that he was ever going to kick a goal from there. Redden to Vince. Eagles' defence has been outstanding so far. Vince. Treby's going to have to go, and does. He's got class, Treby. To another left footer in higher, who spears to McGregor, who couldn't quite hold on to it. Sherwood, first there, crashes a couple, then gets it to Fisher. Oh, amazing handball, overrun by Hinge. In goes Cranston, body on the line. Good final stuff. I'll tell you what, Trevor Cranston's up for the contest today. Kicked by Ruwalt, partly smothered, taken by Higher, got one by the boot. And there's a player down in the middle. Sure who that is. Is that McGregor? Gee, that'd be a blow if they lost him. Jarrod kicks looking for the skipper and Sikalala. Sherwood's there, got an important ball. Sikalala looked back at the umpire for a second. There's a change in the box. Mackenzie, I should say Lindsay, is off. Boundary throw in. Paul Sherwood's attack on the football's been outstanding.
He's been good against McGregor. McGregor's looked dangerous a couple of times, but Sherwood provides that great run out of defence for Glenelg, which is pretty critical to this game.
Kane, accidental topo, got it to Fisher. Fisher goes down the line and Jarrod falls back nicely. He got some good pressure and help from his teammate there with Mules, the skipper of the Bays, waiting to come back on and strengthen their back line. Jarrod goes inside forward 50 for the Eagles. Meanwhile, Holmes wanted to clear the ball quickly. The smother came from Sikalala, and it's still there for Sikalala, and Fisher follows up. And umpire Richard Williams will put the ball into a ruck contest, barely 20 metres from the goal faces. Ben Mules just waits his time. There is an interchange going to happen, but it's McGregor coming to the bench for the Eagles. Cooper did well. Powell threw himself forward. Still caught in there. Umpire now will have to bounce the ball in the goal square. So another opportunity for the Eagles. Dabrowski comes in and the Tigers just wanted to rush it, and Schwarz knew it, and he was on the line waiting.
Certainly the result Glenelg wanted there. We see McGregor coming on and coming off, and Geddes going on.
Rudolph at half-back. Spears the kick nicely. Smith dropped what he should have taken. Pedlar was back onto it. Smith just doesn't look like he's got into the game so far. Pedlar again uses Dabrowski. Dabrowski's got to get round a couple. Good tackle, Ruwald. They are rewarding the tackler today.
Absolutely, they've been pretty hot with the holding the ball. That one certainly was there.
Joe Pedlar looking for a spot at the Logies. And Ruwald's the man. Short kick wide, Moore, commitment. Oh, and he's copped one around the ear too. Ben Moore, I wonder if it'll be 25 metres.
Doesn't look like it at this stage. It was a good grab by Benny Moore, running back into the pack again. He had a great game last week. Here we see, knew something was going to be coming. Yeah, little tap on the head.
The right cross. TV ringside stuff. Moore goes to a big pack of players. Mackenzie could have taken the mark, but he had it taken off him by Pedlar. Mackenzie again, smart hand, Powell, tackled by Smith. Just lost the grip of him. Hinge, another tackle in there, and he goes to ground. The tackling so far has just been outstanding by both teams.
Certainly pretty hot, the ball, when you get it. You haven't got a lot of time to get rid of it, and if you do hang on to it, you're going to get tackled hard. They're not soft tackles.
Hasn't been much rain around Adelaide. Not too much rain, at least, for a while. Ball flicks out the back. Pedlar wants to use Cooper. Cooper just about gets it into orbit. Mules back on. Good work to Kane. Back to Sherwood, the veteran. Kicks long. Smith's in front. Has it knocked away. Crummers. Murphy holding on to him. Sikalella. Murphy went for the boot off the ground. In goes Marnie. And another ball up. 11.5 gone. It's a 16-point lead to the Eagles, who led by 22 at quarter time.
Good sign for Glenelg supporters there. Benny Mules looked pretty composed there, took it cleanly, gave a good give out, so certainly back on track, Benny Mules.
Douglas fighting hard in the midst of the pack, and we'll get another ball up exactly as you were 10 seconds ago. 12 minutes gone in the second term. Ron Fuller and Shane Reardon there talking away their options for the Eagles. Stewart out of the pack. High. Cranston opposed to Pedlar. Cranston had the better of it, followed up nicely. Slipped the hand pass beautifully to Moore. Now they've broken it open for Murphy. Can go on inside 50. Too much pace for Sikalella. Got to finish the job, and he does.
You see the drive there again from Benny Moore. Off the wing, he's come into the game this quarter. Murphy stepped around Sikalella there. Looked like it may have been the wrong decision for a minute. Trevor Cranston again working extremely hard on the deck. Benny Moore found Murphy in space. Backed his speed. Gave himself plenty of time and kicked off. Kicked a good goal, very important one. There we see he's a good, tough player, Murphy. He's come to the Glenelg this year. He's been a pretty important member of the team.
No doubt about that. 10 points the difference. Just goal number 6 for the year, Byron Murphy. Fairclough missed last week, back in the side this week. Murphy's amongst it again with Cooper on the bottom of that pack. The number 2 for the Eagles. You can just see his number there. There's Ron Fuller in the middle. Very pensive as usual.
Trevor Cranston, I mentioned in that last piece of play, he's been fantastic, and a lot of the work you see him do is at the bottom of the packs, and he's a ruckman. It's been fantastic at this stage.
Third man up, Jarrod. It ends up with Powell, who got it from Geddes. Powell had it smothered. Back to Geddes. Geddes squeezed his kick out. It was touched. It won't be a mark. Schwarz gets it away to Cooper, who's got a kick with his non-preferred right boot. It just squeezes in for a behind. Just missed the point post. So the Eagles by 11 points. The first score of the day to Matthew Cooper.
Yes, again, another tight situation. Cooper just getting it forward. Taking the luck, it didn't come off for him there. As we can see down the ground, man on man, not a lot of options for Ben Kane.
So his bailout option is long and direct, and it got to centre wing, and Douglas roved it off the shins and out of bounds between centre wing and half back for the Bays. Magnificent afternoon, doubleheader finals action at the Adelaide Oval. This is the first semi-final and the first time we've seen a matchup between the Eagles and the Bays in a first semi-final. Douglas taking advantage of a lovely tap down, and now he sprints to half forward and he kicks long, and McConnell finally got away from his marker in Redden. And that's what they want. They need to break open the packs and use the pace and the hands. And that was just excellent delivery. There's nothing much you can do about that as a defender.
Richie Douglas, you just missed it there, but he read it beautifully off the hand and just backed his pace. And that's a great delivery. That's how McConnell needs it. He's not the quickest player in the world. He needs it in front like that.
A casual kicking style, and it's let him down.
Yes, he's certainly had a bit of a disappointing final series so far, McConnell. He needs to work hard to get back into it. Glenelg needs to make the most of every opportunity out forward.
Hold them out there, that's it.
Had a pretty good last quarter, though. McConnell last week was one of the players, along with Kirkby, that really stood up for them, along with Ben Moore kicking those 2 goals in the final term. And who could ever forget Moore running into that open goal? Huge celebrations. And Hire just gives it up to Fisher, and Fisher gets it away and finds McConnell. From 49, he'll kick. And I don't think he'll look to give it off. He'll try and roost it a long way. He does. Ruwalt's got to get involved, but the body of Hire is just too strong. And he takes the mark and feeds it out to Jarrett, who's really having a top game, Luke Jarrett. He's cutting them to pieces on the outer side. His kick's not good. Missed. Over the back. Moore. Here's a clash. Salter was there. Moore in hard after the footy. Salter's got him. Ball tucked underneath. Sherwood. He's playing today as if it's his last game. Over the top. It goes to Kane. Kane's got pace. Got a good shepherd. And then kicks long. High to a pack. McKenzie, who's been terrific. Douglas! Couldn't quite hold on to it. Good fly. And a free kick here will go to the Eagles. Douglas can't believe it.
Well, it was that long kick again. Glenelg didn't have any tools there, but they nearly didn't have to because Richie Douglas launched himself but just couldn't hold it and control the footy.
They have another opportunity. They're lining up. Smith should take it in the goal square. Smith will go back. Very sensible from Jeff Smith. He was totally off balance. He could have tried to put it on the foot, but he may well have been a yard over the goal line by the time he got it there.
You were just waiting for that to happen, where you could almost see him thinking, do I drop this on the boot? But I think you're right, Neil. We made the right decision. He was off balance with a bit too much momentum, but he certainly shouldn't miss from here.
From East Perth and via the Geelong rookie list to the Bay, Jeff Smith, point blank range, no troubles. And the Bays narrow the gap to 4 points.
Remember a day at Glenelg where he did miss one from around about there, Chiggy.
Well, he's one of those players that can be fantastic and can be a bit frustrating, but we see a great leg in there by Ruwalt. Beautiful. Smith worked hard back, and as we see, read it. Could have tried to just drop it on, but thought better of it, and I think that was the right decision. Glenelg certainly have come out and controlled the play in this second quarter. Get back within 4 points as we see Murphy coming off. And I think it was Backwell going on.
Jeff Smith, one of 7 players to play all games this year. He boots his 14th for the year. Out of the centre, Sikalala with a high floating ball. Hinge couldn't take the mark. Had the box seat too, Hinge, and I guess you try and back yourself when you're the one just flying for the footy, and didn't take the mark.
He's done a good job though, Hinge on Salter, I think.
Yep.
As we see Ronnie Fuller there, barking orders.
Yeah, what if Salter gets in his space? It's look out. Hinge again. Jarrett, he's getting plenty of ball, plenty of space. We'd like to have a look at his stats in a moment, Chris. We won't ask you now as you're busy with the biros. Jarrett goes inside the forward 50. Rudolph just went to ground. Schwarz couldn't get around Hinge, and a boundary throw in.
17 disposals for Jarrett, 8 in this quarter.
I think Moore and Jarrett are paying off each other a bit. Bernie Moore has certainly come into the game a bit this quarter as well, but you would say Jarrett's had the better of those that contest at this stage.
I saw Matty Cooper briefly on the phone, obviously, to the coaching staff. He's ready to come back on the ground now. Mules was good. Off to Allen. Clears the ball wide. McKenzie in the van, but coming late was Kirk. Kirk looks up. Props the ball into space. Smith half volleyed brilliantly. Now they had the run, the Bays. Here they go through Kirkby. Hasn't had a great afternoon, and that's why he keeps making those little errors. Smith belts it in long, and McConnell takes it. Oh, and a roar comes from the crowd and from McConnell.
Well, that's Justin McConnell. He's a smart player. Just ducked around at the last stage there and took the grab. You can see it here. Corey Kirkby, a couple little mistakes in the middle there. Great smother, though. Smith again followed up his good work, gets it in. See McConnell just duck around and take the grab.
McConnell to put the Bays in front. He's done it. Just about to enter time on in the second term. And McConnell has put the Bays in front, and they've shown yet again they can run you down, Chiggy.
Well, they certainly can when they get their confidence up. Smith's certainly come into the game against Corner. See Kirkby, not a bad decision, but a very good smother there by Hare. And gets it in long. McConnell, dangerous player up forward if you give him a little bit of space. Probably prefer it how he'd prefer it than leading hard.
4 goals, 3 in this term. The Eagles haven't got a goal. And Glenelg have had plenty of the football.
Glenelg didn't take a mark inside 50 for the first quarter, boys. 5 in this quarter alone.
Yeah, good stat, Chris. That's what it's all about, and getting it in quickly. Eagles won't give up. Don't worry about that. Just remember, in round 23, the two sides drew. And with another couple of seconds, Josh Marnie might have just won it for them on that day. As Mark Mickens on the phone.
Don't forget that day too, Michael. The Bays were 20 points up with around 10 minutes left.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. So they will come from behind as well. So it's all set up. Just a rolling scrum at the moment. Powell can't get clear. Glenelg lead the contest by 2 points. They haven't led all day. And Justin McConnell at the 20-minute mark put them in front. There's an Eagle supporter.
You got each other there.
Sikalella can't get through.
No, you landed in his back. Eagles fall.
And it will be a free kick. And it'll go to Powell for pushing the back.
Over there.
Luke Powell.
No closer.
Looks forward. Kept it low. They fly. All knocked away. Here's an opportunity for Cooper. He's got to give it off. He does to Stewart, who's drifted off from back pocket and puts a goal. Eagles back in front. James Stewart kicks his first goal of the year. And what a time to kick it in the first semi-final. Just found himself in some space.
Found himself in some space. You saw Douglas just sitting back off the play a bit. Could have pushed up, but certainly read that ball beautifully. Ran on, kicked the goal. The Eagles certainly needed that. Stewart kicked his first goal for the season. I think he said, Michael, was a pretty important one right there as we see a change. Murphy back on. Ty Allen coming off. As we see those rotations continuing to happen.
In fact, Stewart's first score for the season. Zip to his name before this match. Here's Fairclough out of the middle. Long to half forward, Vince opposed to Fisher. Vince got the better of it, but help out came. And here goes Holmes. His kick smothered Jared. Just took it over the line. In between the chapel stands, the Victor Richardson gates on the far side of the ground. Ronnie Fuller leaning back, plotting the demise of the Bays. Loser this afternoon, out of the finals. Lindsay takes it to the front, Backwell spikes it down the line. McKenzie looked like he was held. Jarrett is, he's smashed into the ground. We'll get another stoppage.
Well, we certainly just want to hold on here. They won't want the Eagles to get a couple of late goals. They've worked really hard this quarter. The Eagles just sneaking away that last one to get a goal.
That's right, Chicky. They've worked pretty hard to get back into the game. They trailed by 22 points at quarter time. McKenzie runs into the brick wall that is Jeff Smith. Interesting tackle. Douglas, pretty slippery customer, had it pinched by Simmons, and then he's taken the ground. The umpire's letting it go, and Panozzo's just tackled Cooper off the ball. And, oh, you must watch yourself, Matthew Cooper. And it's been reversed, and Panozzo gets the free kick. Very untidy work by Cooper. Panozzo goes to the pocket. Marnie. Oh, I think a message might go out to the number 2 for the Eagles. You get one, and you give it back, and Josh Marnie's just the man to make you pay big time.
It's an interesting situation here. I think the umpire created that situation himself a bit. He just let the play go on so long. And then both teams were a bit frustrated in there, I think. Certainly was there. Marnie, another important kick at goal.
Josh Marnie. Kicked a goal at the 2-minute mark. And he's got another one now. He puts the Bays back in front. He's got a couple. And he looms as a danger man up forward.
He does. If he gets it within that 35 to 45 metre region out from goal, as you can see here, the ball just stuck in there. Bit of an undisciplined tackle by Panozzo, and wasn't probably a lot in that either, but certainly Ronnie Fuller wouldn't be happy with that. He was going to be heading down to the Eagles forward line. Turnover there from a bit of an undisciplined act. Quickly into Marnie, who doesn't miss, as we've seen too often, from in that 35 to 40 metre range.
Cranston and Fairclough roved it from the Glenelg ruckman. Down to half 40, goes Fairclough again. Chip pass in front of Schwarz. Oh, great hands. Pulled it in. Could put the Eagles back in front.
Just a little bit too easy for the Eagles coming out of this, streaming out of the centre there. Glenelg need to put a bit more pressure on. Some great play, quick hands. Lovely pass there by Fairclough. And a great grab. Great grab there by Schwarz. He's looked dangerous.
Schwarz lining up. Fairclough, interestingly, played 15 games before being dropped last week. Could have played a couple more because he was in the South Australian under-18 team as well. And he's proven his worth this afternoon, but not Ben Schwarz that time. Away to the left, a poor result from that sort of range in front for a goal kicker.
And we saw that in the first quarter too. Schwarz did the hard work, got the ball, was inside kicking range that he would normally kick, and he's let Glenelg in with another point. So he'll be pretty disappointed with his outcome today.
3 goals, 3 last week, Schwarz, and a couple of those from very easy positions. Turned over by Kirkby. McKenzie was in there, but here comes the danger man in Jarrod with that long penetrating kick. Schwarz stands his ground. Ball knocked away. Good play by Sherwood. Here goes Holmes. Got it away to Fisher. Fisher, Panozzo and Simmons. Simmons kept his balance. Here's Sikalala. Uses nicely. Back to Simmons. Simmons away to Schwarz. He'll probably load up and kick this. It's a long ball to the hot spot. Mules tries to concede. Rudolph tried to knock it through. Well done, Moore. He's slung to the ground. It's against him. Oh, that's hot. With 2 seconds to go. And the siren sounds for half-time. Oh, Ben Moore. Didn't have much of an opportunity to get rid of that.
They've been very hot with holding the ball today, but that is ridiculously hot, I would have thought.
Don't run off the line, Luke Jarrod. Otherwise, you'll muck it all up. Here's an opportunity to put them 7 points in front going into half-time. Luke Jarrod, top ball winner, will go the check side. Let's have a look. He's missed it, and he might get another kick. He will. The umpire's blown the whistle, and he'll get another kick.
Well, very undisciplined play there by Glenelg. You know these umpires, they love that. They're going to just... It was Cranston, he's done so much in the first half. They're just going to pull that every day of the week. And I don't think he'll miss the second time.
Does the first one count?
That's it. Yep.
Luke Jarrod. Straighten the angle up for him. If he misses this, it'll be interesting. Shot on goal is there. Will that come back to haunt Glenelg?
Well, it certainly will. You would say it was pretty hot, that free kick to be there in the first place, but then to give away a stupid free kick that like that after. Now, I'd have to get it clarified, Neil, but I would think it would count.
Well, according to us, the margin is 5 points at half-time. It's the Eagles 6-8-44, Glenelg 6-3-39, and as you can see there, they are just talking to each other and no doubt talking about how good it was to finish the half like that and how they look forward to the second half. Finals action at the Adelaide Oval. Stay with us. 5 points the margin in favour of the Eagles at half-time. Now we're going to our look at finals footy from the VFL and the WAFL.
Flag favourites Geelong took on giant killers North Ballarat in the VFL's second preliminary final on Saturday, and the Cats jumped out of the blocks, booting the first 3. But Lindsay Thomas hit back for the Roosters, the elusive forward booting 3 in a row to have his side up by a point at quarter time.
Rimmer to Thomas, can he get 3? Yes, sir!
The Cats threatened to break the game open in the third, booting 3 of the first 4 goals. But the Roosters refused to lie down. Matthew Campbell with 2, and when Brett Goods kicked truly to finish the term, there were 5 points in it with a quarter to play.
Inside the centre square, it's right there. The goal umpire's going to have to make another decision. He's going to give it a goal.
It was to be as close as the Roosters would come. Geelong devastating in the last quarter as they put on 5 goals in the first 6 minutes to kill the contest. Geelong looking in ominous form going into the grand final, their all-star forward line hitting form at the right time, while it was disappointment for the Roosters after a brave campaign. Williamstown faced Coburg in the first preliminary final on Sunday, and the Seagulls came out firing in an entertaining opening term to boot the first 2. But a goal to Andrew Cracker and some brilliance from Daniel Connors had the Tigers level.
Turns his man, straightens up on the left foot. He's taken the mark of the year, and now he's kicked one of the goals of the year.
Before Ben Reid goaled twice late to see the Seagulls up by 8 at quarter time. Williamstown again jumped out of the blocks in the second, 4 of the first 5 goals seeing them lead by 25. But Coburg rallied late, 2 quick goals going into half-time, leaving them down by 18 at the main break. The Tigers made their move in the third. Jack Revolt clever.
Revolt's got it, dribbles the ball along the ground and kicks a fantastic goal.
And the Mosquito fleet of Fort Caruso and Joe Gazzo taking control as their team kicked 7 goals to none to go into three-quarter time, leading by 24 points. Revolt again dominated, booting 3 majors as his team put on 8 to run out big winners by 61 points. Revolt, the major contributor up front for Coburg, while he had plenty of help, 10 Tigers kicking goals in a second half that signalled their intentions going into a grand final matchup with an on-fire Geelong outfit. Subiaco hosted South Fremantle in the Waffle preliminary final, and after the Lions kicked the opening goal, the Bulldogs hit back with 3 in a row to Ryan Murphy. The South forward was in brilliant touch as he handed his side a 12-point lead before a late goal to Daniel Rich had the Lions within 6 at the first change. Subiaco started strongly in the second, 3 goals in a row putting them in front, but the Dogs hit back before the teams traded goals through the middle stages of the term. Brad Smith on fire for the Lions and Murphy continuing his good form at the other end. His 5th goal after the siren seeing South Fremantle within 7 points at the main break.
Murphy has 4 first-half goals. He kicks and gets his 5th.
But as they've done so often this season, Subiaco blew the game apart in the third quarter, the Dogs unable to cope with the Lions' powerful forward line. Smith was again the standout with 3 goals, but he had plenty of help. The Lions with 8 individual goal kickers for the term to go into the last change up by 65. The Lions booting 6 goals to 1 to close out the match by 95 points and book a place in the grand final against Claremont. Brad Smith and Ryan Murphy the stars for their respective teams with 6 goals apiece, but the Lions with simply too much firepower in the end.
Angela Pipos there with our look at the VFL and the WAFL, and the umpires, the goal umpires have confirmed it is a 5-point margin in favour of the Eagles at half-time. And here's the second half with Michael Maney.
First semi-final in the balance. Wonderful first half of football. Let's see if we can back it up with another. Backwell out of the centre. Well done, Fairclough. Just stole it. And Holmes from half-back. Amazing he's only played a handful of games. Moore on the wing. Just got some elevation with the kick. From behind, higher. Kirk. Just fed it out the back. Marnie quickly to boot. Will it stay in? Kirkby, gee, should have taken that. Held on to Mackenzie. Mackenzie gets the free kick. And I think Kirk's more frustrated with his own inability to mark a chest ball.
Yeah, he's probably hadn't had his best day, Kirkby. We saw him step up in the second half last week. That certainly freed his air, just grabbed hold of the jumper.
Lindsay in the middle of that pack. Geddes, the late inclusion for Grokey. Vince just found some space. Then to the midgets in Cooper and Holmes. Over the back, Mules carted off on a stretcher in the first term. Has recovered. Kane continues to get the football back to Holmes. Kick was touched. No, it wasn't. And Fisher, the half-back, I thought that ball was touched, but the umpires paid.
Certainly looked touched to me, I thought, Michael. But
Fisher to Kirkby. And Kirkby got the handle on that one. Dropped an easy mark just a few moments ago. Floated it to Rudolph, who's run forward. Schwarz right there with him, but
looked like he might have rolled his ankle. I heard that knee again, Rudolph, a bit when he landed there.
a bit awkward. He's going to have to carry it for another couple of games if they get through. Called by the umpire to go, and just kicked to a packed situation. Ball was thumped away. And a ball up, so a quiet start to the third term. Mark Micken, Stephen Rowe just to his right, former Adelaide player. Over the back, Cranston. Fisher, not 15, called the umpire, and the ball just willing its way out of there. And Sikalella, Lindsay, and then Geddes got it away to Fairclough.
Fairclough somehow managed to keep the ball in, and now it's at half forward, and Cooper follows up. And he takes a big dive. Umpire calls play on, slips it to Salter. Salter down to the goal square. Somehow Schwarz conspired to miss that, and Rudolph was tripped.
I think they both lost it there for a moment.
Backwell. Backwell goes short, and peeling off his man was Geddes. He did well to get away from Fisher and just go in and help out, take the mark, boots it long, helicopter kick. Rudolph with the punch, Sherwood with the gather, taking the ground as soon as he got it. The umpire will call for it. As we know, Chiggy, the Eagles will try and shut this game down again, manage to get control. And after all the fireworks, if you like, to end the first half, and I should say Luke Jarrett kicking his first shot at goal after the siren out on the full, followed up by kicking a goal, but it hasn't been quite the fireworks to start the second half. Here's Rudolph, tried to clear the ball. He was looking for the boundary. Holmes on hands and knees. Kane, important for Kirkby, just completely misjudged the ball. And now his opponent in McKenzie kicks a goal. Oh, gee, that hurts.
It certainly does. Glenelg doing some hard work in there. Rudolph saved a few forward actions there. Then McKenzie launches one from outside 50, as we can see here. Holmes, just Benny Kane getting it forward quickly. Didn't read it well. Kirkby struggling with today, getting the pace of the game or something, but McKenzie, beautiful finish there. Had Schwarz leading out to the left, decided to go all the way himself.
Played most of the year in defence, just his 8th goal of the year, Mark McKenzie, 7-3 coming into this game, but he has been exemplary off half-back. He just seems to be able to get his hands to the ball, reads the play well, and no further illustrated than kicking that goal. Treby, some good work. Lomas, Eagles go forward. We know they can kick clusters of goals, the Eagles. But Holmes has got it away to Sherwood. Sherwood pretty good for them. Just delayed the kick and then had it smothered. Cooper, the man, doing the business there. Just those little 1%ers. Matthew Cooper's played in 2 premierships, one with the Eagles, one with Sturt. And he knows all about 1%ers. And there's the Glenelg board, just working it down there on the boundary. Cranston over the back. Powell, useful. Sikalella tackled. Lomas has had some early touches. Ball fed out the back by Cooper. Powell off a step. It's high. It's away to the right. It's a behind.
You mentioned the 1%ers. They've certainly been there. It'd be interesting to see, but there's been a lot of little smothers, just little touches on the footy there, just putting the opposition, or the player with the footy, under a bit of pressure, creating turnovers.
Well, as has been the case, sides choosing to use the outer side as the defensive side. Lomas gathers back inside 50. Schwarz with one grab. Brilliant rove by Douglas. That was class. And then the kick was just something to behold, and Kirk takes the mark. Kirk goes down to half forward, Backwell sprinting towards it. McKenzie intercepted it. Kirkby, slick hands to Smith, bought some time, went long for McConnell on Redden. Redden had the better of it that time, knocked it away. Jarrett using his pace, just put it in front of him, and the ball will roll over the line. Good result for the Eagles. Glenelg getting what they wanted. A quick foray into the forward line, one-on-one for McConnell, but the Eagles able to blunt that attack.
Redden has done a good job on McConnell there. McConnell's only had a couple of opportunities, kicked the one goal. He's done a good job, Redden.
Cranston Down to Allen, brilliantly. He's grabbed by Lomas. Umpire called it holding the ball. I don't know that he had all that much opportunity. So Lomas to take the free kick. Off to Sikalella running. Clever as usual. Ball use wasn't the best. Kane gets it for Glenelg. They'll come the other way with Fisher. Dangerous hand pass. Allen was good. Marnie inside 50. Went for the space over the back. McKenzie fed it off for Redden. They combine well and they get out of trouble again, the Eagles.
Redden's kick will just find the line. Powell can't get there. Boundary throw in. Couple of changes down there, Mark. Looks like Allen taking a spell.
Yeah, just having a little break, and Byron Murphy's been used as a bit of a pinch hitter off the bench coming back on. We saw him used very effectively earlier when he snagged that long goal.
Kicked a nice goal. Byron Murphy at the 12-minute mark of the second term. Here's Douglas, full of class, kicks long. McConnell's the target, got himself under the football. Raving is Kirkby. He wants that left boot. He gets around. He's desperate for the left boot and then doesn't finally get it away. Just got the handball away. Smith can't snag it. Hires in there. Kirkby back over the top. Has he done enough to get rid of it? Fairclough just pinches it and squeezed the kick out to Treby. So the Eagles go forward. Treby's kick out in front. Geddes, in fact, Salter can't take the mark. Sherwood there. Geddes with the tackle, and Sherwood just taken to the line, but it didn't go out of bounds. It'll be thrown up. Umpire Hay. Will he bounce or throw it up? Just positioning the ruckman. He's going to bounce it. Not a bad one. Dabrowski down. Lomas roved it. Ran into Hinge. Good tackle. Well, I think if you're going to be consistent, well, I'll just do it all day. Hopefully the players knew all about that before the start of the game.
They've certainly been hot on it. There's not a lot in it, but as you said, Michael's been consistent all day.
Hinge goes down the line. Murphy falls over the ball. Now it's back for Powell. Drives long. Over the back it'll go again. Holmes, brilliant gather. You'd think he's got maybe a future at a higher level. That was very good. And he had a look and decided there was nothing there and took the avenue down the line to go to the boundary line.
You're right, there is a clean take under pressure. A couple of Eagles guys there. He's only played 2 league games, so pretty impressive youngster.
Here's Kane. He hooks it high and Kirkby outpointed yet again by McKenzie. So McKenzie at half back, launching another Eagles attack to Vince. No run on the far side, and so Vince takes his time, goes through the centre square, cops a shepherd from Sikalella, long kick. Oh, that time Holmes misjudged it. Lomas didn't. Treby's on his left foot. Can snag his third. He does.
He's had a fantastic day today, Treby, kicking his 3rd goal there. Him against Benny Moore has been a good contest. Treby certainly had the best of it at this stage. Long, quick kick in there. Lomas reads it, just farms it out beautifully. Treby finding space again. He's worked hard, working up the ground, pushing down. Benny Moore's just got to tighten up on him a bit, I think. He's getting too dangerous for them at the moment.
Big third quarter for Lomas so far, boys. 7 possessions for the quarter, 18 for the match.
Nick Salter just taking a break for the Eagles. Kenny McGregor back to centre half forward. He's been picked up by Paul Sherwood.
Thanks, Mark. Back in the centre. 3 goals the difference. Oh. Salter just about had his... In fact, it's Simmons just about had his head reefed off.
Back here. Play on. Easy,
To Fiacci. Fiacci long. Schwarz at the front. Rudolph tries to feed the handball out. Held without the football. Rudolph will get it. And a 25 for the ball being kicked away.
No, I don't think they're paying it. You would have thought it was there. You can see Rudolph. He's been pretty good back there. Well,
that's
just hanging on.
That's 25 for all love and money. Richard Williams, the umpire, non-officiating there.
Yes.
Play on now.
Rudolph called the play on. Kicks to a pack. Fisher was there. Vince just takes it to the line. Crowd in. Watching on. Just getting value for money. A couple of Central supporters.
Eyes to the footy, boys.
Watching the early game. Dabrowski reaches over at the back. Kane with a fist. Powell tackled by Murphy. Spills out the back to Vince. fed it to Fiachi. Fiachi's kick is high. McGregor came from 3 back. Simmons, did he drop it? Yes, he did. They have paid it all day. Mules, the man who, after being carted off on a stretcher, has really come back, and the kick just squeezed out and found Fisher.
Adam Fisher, in his 3rd season at the Bay, best and fairest in his 1st year. And the lead-up that Kirkby provided last week is provided by Kirk now. Not the greatest of kicks, was it? Just high. It's back on centre wing. Smith fighting his way through, left the ball behind. Murphy was good at the bottom of the pack. Ruwalt carries the kick to Backwell. Backwell looks around and waits. McConnell says, kick it to me, back in the square. Instead, clever little dinky kick, maybe 15, 20 metres long. And Richie Douglas took it and thought, my responsibility, kick the goal.
Reasonably sharp angle for Douglas here. He's a beautiful, skilled player, though, as we've seen a couple of his passes today. Let's see how good he is on the set shot.
Reverse angle from the Chapel stands, the eastern side of the Adelaide Oval, kicking towards that beautiful Bradman stand.
Yeah, 1 now.
Douglas. It floats across for the minor score.
I think it's a real danger period for Glenelg here. Eagles have certainly controlled most of the footy this quarter so far. They can't let them get too big a break going into that last quarter.
17 points the difference in favour of the Eagles, who goals to Mackenzie and Treby have stepped it out to that margin. Smith just knocked it forward. Roving was more, and a beautiful kick finds Marnie. Marnie gives it off inboard. Kane on the left. Interesting kick. Ben Kane didn't use his pace to try and straighten up. Just went on the left and just hurried it a fraction.
Again, Marnie in that situation probably would have been better off hanging on to the football and going back and trying to set something up just out of his distance, I imagine. So that's why he went the option of playing on quickly.
Fiachi. Smith opposed to Treby. Smith with too much strength punched it away. Kirk tried to do the same. It was effective. I don't think he meant it. Certainly Ben Moore didn't mean that. Turnover straight away. It's pumped back by Fiachi to half forward for the Eagles. Kirk comes in, taps it nicely to Moore. Second chance for Moore to do the right thing. Cranston, or dangerous kick. Worked out not too badly. Marty knew that he had somebody over the top. Vince was clever. Now he comes to this side. They're outnumbered and they want the ball to go out, and it does for the Eagles. There's Cranston and Moore standing there waiting for that ball not to go out.
Yeah, I think the Eagles would have been happy with that result. Again, three players under a bit of pressure there. You see the skill level not quite to the standard we're used to.
In the pack, Smith emerges, gets it to Ruwalt, thumps it long. And at the front is McConnell. Oh, he can feed Douglas. Behind him it went. Douglas was good enough to recover. Vince was good enough to smother. Now it comes back for Kane. This time he uses his pace. This time he slips. Now McConnell. McConnell has a glance. Kicks, misses. Oh, they're getting opportunities.
Getting opportunities there. Looks like McConnell limping a bit there. Don't know what he's done. He's certainly looking like he's in a bit of strife.
That may be muscular.
The calf is coming straight off.
Is he coming off through the interchange gate?
He's grabbing the hammy.
Yeah, maybe a hamstring to McConnell. That is a blow. There he is in the box. Kick run down. Higher goes back in after it. Allen. Can't extract the football as Justin McConnell finds his way to the bench. And Mark, just having a quick look, what are they pointing toward?
I think you might find pretty quickly that he's got a problem there with the hamstring, just up in the top left hamstring around the glute there. So physios and doctor straight on that, and they'll have a look and see what the problem is.
Cranston down brilliantly to Douglas. Douglas from 40 lines them up and misses. Oh, they are crucial on a full head of steam. And missing from there.
Well, I mentioned 5 minutes or so ago, I thought it was an important stage of the game. Getting the opportunities, Glenelg, just not doing the damage on the scoreboard. They've got to change that to make sure they keep close to this Eagles outfit.
Last four scoring shots of the match to Glenelg, 4 behinds. They are getting closer, ever so slowly. Sherwood was held. Geddes. Now we'll get another ball up. It's already at left half forward for the Eagles.
This is the sort of scenario you see where the Eagles just bring it back and kick a goal and does a lot of damage for Glenelg. So they need to make sure they're tight and hard here.
Cooper, left foot. Allows him to screw the ball around for Schwartz. Rudolph got the fist in there. Schwartz trying to use his pace. Rudolph again slapping towards the line. Support from Mules. Eventually stays in, no. In front of the scoreboard. Crowd building magnificently here this afternoon. It'll be a big crowd for the second match of the doubleheader, you'd think. A lot of Bays fans seem to have come out of the woodwork, Chiggy.
Well, they've been a long time without much joy, so hopefully they're enjoying it today.
Cranston on the ground. Treby taken down by Mules. On the ground, he hasn't knocked it out. Umpire issuing instructions and will get a ball up. Just the Eagles, past 8 years, those fans have enjoyed at least one win every year in the finals. They've also enjoyed, of course, last year's premiership. 4 times they've been runners-up, 3 times third and once fourth, and that'll be holding the ball. So finally the Bays rewarded as Chiggy says yes.
Well, again, it was hot, you know, Sika was pretty tough there, but it's been played exactly the same to a lot of people today.
Smith has a runner in the middle of the ground, and it's the woolly one in Murphy. Couldn't take the mark. He got a fit of the fumbles. He straightened himself up to Kirk. To get Captain Kirk, where's the Starship Enterprise? It's in orbit. It goes long. And through from behind. Josh Marnie couldn't quite keep it in.
He launched that Kirk when he got onto it. It was a pretty good kick off the boot. But again, Glenelg just wasting another opportunity as Eagles bring it in quickly.
It's the man they call the Flash, and Jared goes down the line. Treby now. He's on his left foot. They've done this well, the Eagles. Again from the kick in, they get it to half forward. Geddes tracking the ball towards the boundary line. Oh, clever kick. What's the bounce like? He doesn't need a bounce. It was too easy. Simmons ran onto it and kicked a goal. Chiggy, we talked about it. The Eagles get a goal after the Tigers had so many opportunities. Man, does that hurt.
That certainly does hurt. Glenelg have been peppering the goals, but we see here, very smart kick. Don't know whether he saw the player going into goals there, but just set up beautifully, ran hard. And an easy kick a goal there in the end, but it's a smart play by the Eagles, good teamwork. They certainly hurt you, and you've had all the play in Glenelg's situation. The Eagles come back, get that damaging goal.
Douglas twice, McConnell and Kane, the offenders. They haven't been able to score goals. Lomas, McGregor, just too strong on Hinge. And I tell you what, if he can go back and slot this, Glenelg have had most of the play in this third term, and the Eagles go forward a couple of times, and they've booted 3 so far in this term.
No closer, no fouls. Thank you.
Lomas, a quick kick out again there. McGregor hasn't had a big day. Important mark now, though.
Just fresh, Chiggy's been sitting on the bench on and off. Change with Sikalala ready now.
McGregor's kick is there. He wobbled it through for a goal. And the Eagles drift out to a 25-point lead.
Yes, it's certainly danger zone now for Glenelg. We see quick hands out of the middle. Lomas just knew how to get it on the foot quickly. McGregor playing in front. Sherwood been on him for most of the day. Hinge on him now. And he kicks that goal. 3 kicks, 1 hand pass for the day. So you see Sherwood have done a good job.
So statistically across the season, these are the 2 most efficient sides at least number of possessions per scoring shot. It's Glenelg with 10.81 possessions per scoring shot, but not this afternoon, versus the Eagles 10.82 per scoring shot. But Eagles have just been a little bit too good around goals just at the moment. Fiacci and now Fairclough, and he didn't see it coming, and Panozzo just had to release the hand pass. They had players forward, but they couldn't get it to them, the Bays. The veteran Moore does excellently. The kick sits up, comes to ground at the front. And another free kick against the Bays. Lomas will take it. Fisher, the offender. And he chips it wide. Higher. So they'll take their time again, the Eagles. That's a lot of time he's taken. Now Higher comes this side of the ground where, again, Jared found a bit of space on Moore. Jared goes down the line. Nice little chip, just too far for Powell. Now the opportunity for the Bays. There's nobody coming towards the ball. Now there is, it's Douglas. And Panozzo gave him a beautiful pass. But this, with the wind blowing across the face of Douglas from the right, would be a very difficult shot at goal.
Lovely leg by Panozzo there. Douglas 1 goal 3 for the day, so he certainly hadn't had his goal-kicking boot on. Glenelg need him to get this one.
The former Calder Cannon from the Victorian Under-18 competition, recruited by Adelaide in 2005 with pick number 16 in the national draft. He's left it way left. He's missed everything.
It's certainly hurting Glenelg at the moment. As you can see, he's one of the spot-up guys for Glenelg. They're still lacking a real target up forward. This may hurt them today.
Out of bounds on the full is a bad result. 4 goals, 1 to 5 behinds in this term. Tells a story in the third term. Higher goes with a long bomb. Rove beautifully by Mackenzie. Kicked into the centre. Moore first there in front of Trevi. Been all right, Ben Moore. Kirk on the outer side wing. Wobbles it forward, looking for Kirkby, who went too early. Mackenzie couldn't complete it. Kirkby got another go. Mackenzie takes him to ground. Lindsay and Cranston, the 2 ruckmen. And a ball up. Mark Mackenzie appealing to the umpire.
Mark Micken there. You'll be wondering what he can do with his forward line structure. Make it function better.
Fisher will get a free kick for being held on to without the footy. Just had hold of his Guernseys. You could hear the umpire and the effects mic. Now Fisher from just outside 50. Won't get the journey. Gives it a fair go. Oh, it's been marked by Smith. Oh, the long tentacles of Jeff Smith. The second mark he's taken in the 10-metre square.
Kirkby looked like the man that was going to get it flying in from the side. But Smith, big time. Yeah, absolutely.
Jumps, looks for all the world. He's in the right position and just too early.
This to take it back to 19 points. They need this one. Smith doesn't miss. He's booted a couple. Well, they've got plenty of the football, Glenelg, but that sort of result has been lacking for them.
Hasn't had a bad day up forward, Smith, but he is a big man. He's got to be one of the focal points they go to. He's kicked 2, but perhaps he needs to do a little bit more up there even. Great grab in this situation. As we see, you're right, Neil Kirkby hasn't had a fantastic day, and that sort of pretty much highlights it. Launched himself at it. I don't think it's from lack of trying. He's just having one of those days. But we did see he came into the game in that last quarter last week and certainly made a difference.
Inside 50s, 42 apiece, boys, but Eagles clearly leading centre breaks 14-5.
Now the Bays have made a couple of moves off the bench involving Ben Moore and the wings. We'll come to Sodas in a minute who can explain that. As in the middle, they come away with the ball. Here's Backwell, space in front of him to work with. Kick was horrible. Well, that was well gathered by Cranston. Now Backwell, another opportunity, run down. And dropping the ball, or holding the ball at least. Fiacci will take the free kick.
Great follow-up by Backwell there, worked hard. Fiacci just sweating off, knew he was going to get it. Strong tackle.
And now the mark taken from the chip by Cooper. Cooper's kick. They must be using a flat ball this afternoon. We've seen so many of those sort of helicopter kicks. And here's another one, just bunted downfield by Vince. Sherwood, oh, that was brilliant. Classy from Sherwood. Now to Kirk, space, time. Just kicks it up in the air. Shocking kick, Sikalellis, it's under it. Mules! Oh, Ben Mules, take a bow. He was knocked out and carried off in the opening quarter, and he went back there just begging somebody to hit him. He kicks it inside, half forward. Fisher will rove it. Higher trying to round him towards the boundary line. Did a pretty good job. Douglas just kicked it back along the ground and Powell picked it up. How about Ben Mules?
That was amazing. As you said, clash of heads in the first quarter here. Just no consideration for his welfare at all. Running back into the pack. Beautiful grab. Deserved more when it went up forward. And you never know, they might get it here now. Siren's gone.
So another after the siren kick, this time for Fisher, who ducked into the tackle, got the hit in the back. And so he will line up from an acute angle in much the same way for the left-footer Jared just before half-time from the other side of the ground. This time it's a right-footer, the other team, and Fisher lining up.
Not many kick from here.
No, it's a tough kick from here. You get this one, you know Glenelg might be back into it. Need a bit of luck.
19 the margin. Fisher goes with the check side and misses everything, and none of the Eagles have anything to say to him, or maybe just a bit there as he went through. So no score, three-quarter time here at the Adelaide Oval, the first semi-final, and it's a 19-point game in favour of the Eagles. 10-9-69, Glenelg 7-8-50.
Well, Glenelg will be pretty disappointed with that. They had a lot of the play, had a lot of shots at goals, but missed most of them, and a lot of them were very gettable goals. So they're going to have to really get together now and come home in this last quarter for a big last quarter. Eagles would have been happy, made the most of their opportunities. They'll be pretty comfortable sitting here at three-quarter time, thinking they're a big chance.
4 goals, 1 from the Eagles, 1 goal, 5 from the Bays in the third term, and it's the Eagles by 19 points at three-quarter time. Just ready for the start in the final term. Which side will see their last final term of the year? Here's Michael Maney.
Which team will play its last quarter right now for season 2007? It's cutthroat in the first semi-final. Douglas for Glenelg, a high ball. Higher couldn't take it. Kirk couldn't take it with him either. Higher got back and got it to Powell. Powell kicks a long ball to half forward. Sherwood worked his way in front of Salter. Kane just played for the free kick. Mules went to ground. Hinge got it to Kane, who's pacey. Got under the kick a bit, but it floats to a pack. Need a crummer. This is Ruwalt, who's got Douglas. Decided to give it back to Kane. Kane loads it up. Backwell's in good position. Can he take the mark? Fairclough got a fingernail on it. Panozzo taken to the line. Back to Backwell. Can he dribble it through? He has! Last year's McGarry medalist gives the Bays the medicine they required in this last term.
That's exactly what they needed to do. 19 points down at three-quarter time. Backwell started the quarter up forward, been in the middle most of the day. Panozzo just smart enough to get it out, and could have run in a bit more Backwell, but was confident from there he could just dribble it through. And luckily for Glenelg, it got through. 7 kicks, 13 handballs for Backwell, and a very important goal early in the last.
Important centre break now, and we'll get a secondary bounce, and that ball, and straight away Lindsay didn't give back the ball to the umpire, and the umpire said, right, now, here's a free kick. Here's Fisher around the back of Cranston. Fisher goes high and long. Kirkby sits, knocks it away. Higher with possession, taken to ground. Umpire calls play on. Smother by Murphy. Now Vince steps around. Long for Geddes. Punch came from Kane. He started well in the last quarter. Cranston over the top for Mules. Great comeback by Mules after being knocked out in the first quarter. Here's Kirkby and Smith working again. Smith, the running man, Fisher. Fisher, he's hooked the goal. He's hooked another one. 7 points the margin.
Fisher, great running. We've seen Glenelg, they can score quickly when they get this running game going. Both teams will be tired. It's been hot weather out there today. Glenelg just going at it. Smith providing a contest there at centre half forward, which is important. Fisher running through. Not an easy kick running through 50 there. Good enough to finish off. It's amazing. We've seen that third quarter they couldn't kick them from anywhere. And now they've kicked a couple very early, put them right back in this contest. And they're pretty happy about it.
7 points the diff. They're happy, Chiggy. You've just about jumped out of the grandstand. Up goes Cranston. He's been terrific today. Douglas hooked the kick. Kirk's in front. Can he hold on? Mackenzie, Mr. Reliable, can't get through. Then wonderfully tapped down by Lindsay. Back to Mackenzie. Eagles go forward. Ball flicks over the back. Hinge has got the run of it. Went for the big kick off the ground. Mules. Holmes just got the kick away. Treby, he's booted free. Dishes off. Jarrett in a bit of space. Got the staggers. Couldn't quite pick it up. Under pressure from Hinge. No free kick. Crowd wanted ball. Salter. Tackled by Rudolph. Got the arms free. Over the top. Treby, he's got 3. He's now got 4. Eagles reply to the back wall and Fisher goals. Lee Treby has been a constant menace inside 50 all day for the Eagles.
Treby has been fantastic there. Just didn't pin the arms there, the Glenelg players. Got it out. Treby working hard again. He's a great finisher. He's had a fantastic day so far today. Getting a little bit of breathing space there, the Eagles.
3 goals in 4 minutes to start the final term. And they lead by 13 points, the Eagles. The Bays have certainly shown how quickly they can score. Here's Treby. He's had a day out from centre wing this afternoon. Kane couldn't see quite because of the sun. Fiacci was good. Head pass out, and that'll be holding the ball, Geddes. And the Bays are off and running again. Hinge off to Kirk. Kirk looks up. Umpire didn't call play on. Wait on it. He can hit the sky with his kicking. He's done it again. High, but at least in front. Panozzo dropped the mark. Chance to clear for the Eagles. Just maintain a bit of composure. Oh, Mules was brilliant. Over the top, the skipper to Backwell. Fake the hand pass. Wants somebody to lead. Nobody comes to him. Now Marnie took his time. Oh, that wasn't a good kick. But he was under pressure. And nobody had let up for the Bays.
Dabrowski to Stewart. Ruwalt with some pressure, but standing his ground was Stewart. And Salter's off.
Salter just having a spell. Kenny McGregor back to half forward. I don't think the Bays have given up on McConnell yet. He spent all of last term and plenty of this term and the break getting that hamstring looked at, and he's still keeping it stretched, so they are hopefully he will return.
Thanks, Mark. Vince's kick, Treby just below his knees, couldn't quite complete it. Now he composed himself. Lomas had a brilliant third term. We get a free kick now for a low tackle. We'll get some stats from Chris in just a second for the major ball winners, and a change for Glenelg as Ruwalt comes off. They got 2 of them on there at the moment. Then Ruwalt's told to stay on the ground. We might just check that with Mark in a minute. A bit of confusion down there, Mark.
Yeah, not quite sure. I think the bench was yelling out to Ruwalt to come off, and he got there. Allen's pushed him back on, so they're just trying to sort that out. But Ruwalt did have the job on Jarrett.
Cooper's kick inside 50. Target was Schwarz. Rudolph, who booted a couple of goals in the last term when he went forward, and he'll win a free kick. It's a hot football out there. They're red hot on it, the umpires. I think there were 70 free kicks paid in one of the games last week, and how many free kicks now? There's about 45. Some of the major ball winners in that for the first 3 quarters, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. For the Bays, Kane with 20, Backwell 19, Fisher 18. For the Eagles, Jared 24, Lomas 20, Mackenzie 18.
They're running again, the Bays. Kane puts the ball in front of 2 players. One of them, Douglas, patted it in front of him. Powell took it to the line. Big contingent of Bay supporters out there on the hill. They had a few troubles for the Eagles. Thought that might have been just cramp for Stewart, but it's not by the looks of it. They're a little bit serious there, it looks like. Oh, and yeah, he put his leg up, and I think it might have been twisted through the knee in that marking contest. Meanwhile, over on the scoreboard side of the ground, 7.5 minutes gone. And there's another look. You just saw he just put his leg up, and as a result, foot maybe caused a bit of a twist to the knee. Bays had the ball again. Fisher got a kick away, but it's out on the full. Sikalella, who we had some doubts about how he was running out this match to take the free kick. Marnie there, running back, as I said, 97 AFL games. Been through the Western Bulldogs and Collingwood and Port Adelaide, where he thinks is home, if you like. Has some coaching ambitions. Not, I must say, in the SANFL. So now the Eagles just taking the opportunity to slow the game down. They have the lead. And Simmons boots long to half back. And unopposed Kirk, and here come the Bays again.
Kirk with a handball away to Kane, who's been brilliant. He kicks to the pocket, just pulled the kick though. Free kick off the footy, and it's going to the Bays for holding on. It's going to that man, Douglas.
He's been really important, Douglas, here. We see Kane getting it along. What can we see? Yeah, Douglas just getting held there by Fiarchi.
Oh, milked it.
He probably didn't milk it. Well, not a lot in it, you would say, but the umpires have been pretty hot on everything today. This man hasn't had his kicking boot on. See what he can do here.
1 goal free and 1 out of bounds on the full. Richard Douglas. Perfect shot of this. He's got it. It's back to 7 points. We had 2 crackerjack finals last weekend, Chiggy. And boy, oh boy, have we got another one here.
We certainly have. Ben Kane has been really important today. He's had a fantastic game. A lot of run off of half back there. Been good this quarter. Douglas again has got some really good touches there. Certainly a bit of contact there, may have been a bit lucky, but as we know, the umpires are paying everything today. I think it's going to be whoever's survival of the fittest here today. The warm weather will had a bit of an impact. Glenelg showing plenty of run at this stage though.
The Bays, remember, have not been beaten since they played the Eagles in round 16. They found ways to win, or to draw, if you like, in round 23 against the Bays. Against the Eagles, I should say. Here's Panozzo, put it in front of himself, didn't see any other option. Goes at it again. Umpire calls play on, nothing in that. Fiarchi clears the area. Jarrett, been quieter in this quarter, but generally all day has been very good. Oh, he went to play on. And he wanted to come this side of the ground to Vince, but he couldn't. So they contain the breakaway to the Bays. And here's Cooper. He went down to half forward. I think he was initially looking for McGregor. He found Simmons. Simmons long. And Dabrowski too big, too strong for Hinge. So a mismatch there. Dabrowski goes long. 1-on-1 with Schwartz. Ball to ground. Bay's working hard. It pops out to Fairclough. Rudolph's got him. He goes to ground, and the umpire walk. Holding the ball.
Gee, mate, they've been hot today. I would have thought he had a lot of time there.
It was Murphy with the tackle in the Bays. Bang, they're away again.
Backwell found Fisher on the overlap. He's going to have a few bounces down the Chapel stand wing. He could have another one if he wanted to, but he kicks long. Oh, up at the back. Kirkby couldn't take the mark. Douglas plays for the free kick. Kirk got through. Panozzo. And a ball in. There's Mark Williams in the stand. Speaking to one of the lowers by the look of it.
Be a very happy man by the looks today, Choco. He's going to have a big week ahead of him. One player for Glenelg who's really stood up, I think, too, is Kirk.
Yep. Got a tap down then. And then followed it up with a piercing tackle on Bernie Vince, and the ball was held to him. Boy, gee, I tell you what, the umpire had paid that for holding the ball. Might have been interesting. 7 points the difference in a classic first semi-final at the Adelaide Oval. A lot of players around the footy. Dabrowski down. Cooper, head down, backside up, squeezed the kick out down the line. Simmons got one from front on, and it was accidental. The umpire not too worried about that, but Simmons just got up. Let's have a look here. He was standing up, not so much crouching too far over. I think that's probably what saved Allen on that occasion. Short kick. And it's been marked. This is Geddes. Just chips it down the line. Oh, no mark. Fairclough dropped it. Lomas taken to ground. Sikalella. It's been a quiet day for him. Fairclough just off a step. Wobbled it to McGregor. He worked his way to the front with some experience and strength. And Kenneth McGregor, who's only had the 6 possessions this afternoon, will shoot on goal.
Normally a very accurate shot at goal too, Kenny McGregor. Not a big day for him, but he certainly will go back pretty confident here.
Normally likes to keep them low. McGregor will probably have to get a bit of elevation. No, he's gone to the top of the square, and that is A terrible kick. And Holmes has taken the mark for the Bays.
Off to Sugars, then Holmes again. Sugars has managed to quieten Jarrett on this wing since he's gone to him, and that's off the shins, unluckily for Smith. Out on the full. Smith questioning the decision, as you would. It's pretty crucial at this time.
Off his knee.
Yeah, off his knee. But still, you know, you can see how they play that.
Pedler. Dabrowski on the lead. Ball goes over the back. Dangerous. Rudolph kicks it out of midair. They want it to go out, or maybe not. Backwell tracking it across there. It does go out.
Be interesting, the mindset of the two teams. Glenelg came from behind last week, know that they can win from behind. Eagles gave up a big lead, so Eagles will have a bit of a steely resolve, you'd think, this week to make sure that they hold on.
Backwell clears the area. And will it bounce out? 3-4 players racing towards the ball, and it does. So out of bounds again, another stop play. We go back to that match last week, and the Bays, yes, coming from, what, at the maximum, about 15 points down to get over the top of Sturt. And the Eagles were 30 points up, I think it was at one stage. 30 points up at the 18-minute mark of the third term and lost the qualifying final to North Adelaide. The ball now out on the far side. Hooked back towards goal. Schwarz. Murphy was there. Punched away Mules. Cicolella got in there, but not before Murphy. Now Holmes. And just under too much pressure out on the full. So the Eagles will go back into attack through Lomas, who drops it in short straight away to Geddes. Young man on debut. Chance to kick a goal.
Come around, mate.
As going back, Geddes, you see with Soldier about to come on from McGregor, another change happening there.
Kenny McGregor just coming off again, and Nick Solder, the centre-half forward.
So Geddes taking all his allotted time as we show you the angle he's looking at, and he looks like he's left it just narrow, or has he? Umpire says it's a goal. A valuable steadier halfway through the last quarter for the Eagles.
It was a pretty important goal. I think Glenelg really needed that next goal to keep that momentum going. You see here Murphy working hard. Young Holmes under extreme pressure. Should have tried to dribble it along the ground, probably just to get it out of bounds. Again, bit of loose checking there by the Glenelg back line, allowing Geddes to get on his own and kick a very important goal. Gives them that breathing space.
No Justin McConnell mark.
Well, they're still working on him, Michael. They've got that left hamstring. They've tried to keep it warm. He's been on the bike. He's getting plenty of rubs. So I think they're still keen to keep him there just in case.
Bays go forward. Kirk can't get it. Ball up. Good, solid ball movement. There's Justin McConnell pensively looking at the ground, hoping he can come back and do something. His last quarter was outstanding. His first three last week were deplorable.
No, he's a ruckman there.
Up goes Smith. Pedler cleared the area with a wobbly old ball. Which way will it bounce? Kane attacks it. Kept it in front of himself. Going in hard was Allen. Fed it away. Back to Kane. Here's Backwell. Backwell loads it up. It won't come round far enough. It's a behind. 12 points the difference in favour of the Eagles. Backwell looks pretty much spent.
Yeah, there'll be some tired players out there for sure. Backwell, I think, could have taken another couple of steps, just balanced himself a little bit better, made sure he made the most of that opportunity. They've got to kick the goals, Glenelg. They've got to keep that pressure on the Eagles.
Oh, and the pressure tells that time. Poor kick in. Pedler goes to ground. Umpire says, I'll have it. 2 goals straight, the margin. 2 kicks away they are, the Bays. Remember, no extra time, or sorry, there will be extra time if there is a draw. No draws in finals footy except for the grand final in the SANFL. Moore, the veteran, kicked a couple to win it last week, puts it high to the goal square or in that general direction. Collision, oh, bad hand pass from Dabrowski, and Backwell's got one that they need.
Oh, there's Backwell. He's kicked 2 for the day. He's had plenty of the football. We have questioned some of the delivery from time to time, but he's a great player for Glenelg Footy Club. Benny Moore again featuring in a critical play. Players just throwing themselves out of the football. Dabrowski, Backwell just cuts it off beautifully with those bright line boots. Pretty happy with those, and he's pretty happy with that kick and goal. Putting Glenelg back within 6 points. We're in for another build of the last quarter here.
Backwell leading possession getter on the ground, 28 disposals, 11 kicks, 17 handballs, 9 this quarter.
McGregor back on. 4-1 to 2 straight. Bays through Backwell, out to half forward. Kirkby and Pedlar. Now Kirkby will have to do some good work to get it here. Took possession. Pedlar just jumped over the top of him and locked the ball in. It'll be a ball up.
Just in front of us too, Ronnie Fuller's really upset about who's on Backwell. Backwell has had a heap of it this last quarter. The centre breaks back to 15-12 in Eagles' favour, but at one stage Eagles absolutely dominated that area.
Ball just rolls over the line.
Michael, you mentioned that Ken McGregor's back on. This time he's actually gone to defence. Spent a lot of time changing up and down from centre-half forward off the bench. Now he's gone back, sitting at centre-half back there. He's got Rory Kirkby to deal with.
Thanks, Mark. Boundary throw-ins. We tick into 19 minutes of the final turn in the first semi-final. Wonderful by Kirk to Hinge. Inside 50, there's that man McGregor. Clears the area with a long kick. Simmons can't take the mark. He's got to get around. He's tackled, he dropped it. Advantage rule. Goes to Backwell. Backwell pumps it back inside 50. Ball thumped away by McGregor. Smart play. Dabrowski over the top. Ben Moore, last week's hero. Can he get rid of it? Umpire said yes, he did. Lomax close to the line. Boundary throw in. It's tense. 19.5 gone. One straight kick separating the two teams. Was this deliberate, Nick Chigwin?
Well, let's have a look at it here. No, you couldn't say that was deliberate as much as I would have liked to say it was.
Kirkby reaches over, or Kirk, I should say, reaches over. Sugars just got the kick away. What's the bounce like? It was good for Douglas. Considered, stopped, kicked it along. And Smith should take it, and he does.
Oh, dear.
He's 25 metres out. He's straight in front. And he can level the scores.
He can level the scores. You mentioned it earlier in the day. We have seen him miss a couple from here during the season. But he has been fantastic today, Smith. I think he's given a real target up there, especially the second half. A little bit toey about this one. He's got to just go back, kick hard through it, and put the Bays right in this game.
And he's done it, and he's happy. Have a look at that. There's life in the Bays yet. It's all tied up. It's 12-9 apiece in the first semi-final.
As I talked about earlier, Eagles got run over last week. Don't have to be a bit toey about this. Glenelg have certainly got all the run. Richard Douglas has been a class act. Held the footy there, waited for the right moment. Smith, too strong, too tall, too good in front, goes back and slots the goal. A very important centre break here.
Chiggy Smith has been terrific, and Ronnie Fuller is worried. Ken McGregor now at full back on Jeff Smith.
Oh, Backwell's gone down. He's hurt. He's hurt his ankle. Oh, the mark's been taken by Sugars. But back on play, Backwell in a bit of trouble. Sugars kick out wide. Jarrett came from nowhere with the thump. Rudolph, the handball out, looking for more. Pop one on the way through. The former skipper. He'll have to go back and take his kick. And ought to be 25 metres. As Backwell hobbles off. Oh dear. If they get through, there'll be some medicos sweating over the ankle of Backwell.
Well, that really hurts them for the rest of this game, let alone if they get through. He has been in scintillating form this last quarter.
Vince pumps it forward for the Eagles. Flicked over the back. Sugars couldn't get it. Salter there. Good solid bump on Holmes. Mules with a handball away. Sugars measures the kick. Murphy has got the run of the footy. Collected it well. He ran out of real estate. And then somehow, was it a throw? Was it a handball? It's out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Mark Soderstrom all over the Backwell injury.
Well, Michael, the Mouse is on the ground. They've ripped the boot off very quickly. They've got, I think, going to tape it and make sure that they can see if we can give them a little bit of support and give the Mouse a little run out there again. But don't forget, McConnell off. Now Backwell with an injury.
Time on, the last quarter. First semi-final. Scores are locked away. And Murphy, wait on the umpire, will get a throw-in ultimately. I think when the umpire, the central umpire, blew the whistle, he was thinking bounce.
I thought he was thinking holding the ball again.
Centre wing. Lindsay and Cranston, who probably had the better of it. Vince, was it in the back? Was it holding the ball? What is it? Umpire doesn't want to make a decision.
No, they've been playing things like that all day, which has probably been hot. You can see here, it would have been a bit stiff. There's no doubt about that if he got hold of the ball there. Did drag it back in, though.
Ball down Fisher. Lomas. It's in tight and it's caught there again. Let's have a look. It's 5 goals to the Bays in the last quarter and 2 goals to the Eagles. So you wonder what that means in terms of time. Perhaps 28 minutes or thereabouts this quarter will go. Vince was pulled down. He sent it forward though and knocked away by Rudolph into a bit of space. Kane picked it up well. He's been great in this last quarter. Ben Mules has made a fantastic comeback and the skipper just kicks it, hacks it out of there. Ball to the front, Jared. In traffic, he's caught. He's taken down and we'll get another ball up.
I don't know if they're going to play too many holding the balls now. They're letting the boys go, which is good. Let them attack the footy. We can see Mouse back well, getting the ankle strap there. He'd be keen to get back on the ground.
Lindsay down. Pack developing. Just one breakaway. Could be enough. The boot's back on. He's doing up the laces as if I'm ready to rumble.
Yeah, he's setting a world record for that.
They go again. Cranston's been terrific in the ruck. In goes Fisher. Ball in tight. 24 and a half minutes gone. 81 apiece. Backwell gets a cheer. He's just testing it out. He's not too sure. It doesn't look the best. Mules in traffic. Hooked it across the body out to the wing. Kirkby went early. Higher at the back. The handball okay. Jared's caught. Umpires push the whistle away. Throw them away. We don't need them in the last quarter.
Oh, but he's done it for both teams. So that was so hot on them all early. Now the last quarter they're making it happen.
Bounce of the ball. Scores locked together. Who can get a break? Douglas with the quick hands to Fisher. Out in front, Ruwalt couldn't take the mark. Fair flow there. Away it goes to Redden. Redden measures out to McKenzie, who's gone forward. Kane stands the mark. Can the Eagles get a goal?
Next score wins your fancy. Long ball inside forward 50. On the ground, Geddes. Schwarz round the corner, out on the full. Pushed as he kicked it by Sherwood, the veteran. And Sugars will take the free kick.
Don't forget, boys, the last time these teams met, it was a draw also.
Round 23 at Woodville.
The Eagles have certainly had it in their side, inside their 50 for most of this last 5 minutes.
Long ball out, Lindsay reaches up, took the second grab. On the ground, Vince to his right. Looks like he's getting up very slowly. You see him there, just to the right of pitcher number 17, Lindsay inside 50. Oh, in the middle of the pack, Rudolph almost pulls it down. Mules was there, and so was Sherwood, the only survivor of their last finals campaign in 1999. Vince, who got up off the ground to take that, couldn't take it. It's now down to half forward. Redden at the back took a brilliant mark. He's called a play on. Panozzo is quick onto him. Redden gets a hand pass away. Allen on the ground, over the shoulder. Ruwalt takes off into the forward line. Wait on it. They just belt it long, you feel. Next goal wins. Next score wins. The Bays are at half forward. The ball skirts wide. Fiacci with it, off to Geddes, bit of space for him, the Eagles can score.
Geddes goes inside 50, looking for Simmons. Mules is there with him. This is an important ball. Simmons kept it out in front of him, kicked it off the ground. Oh, Swallows, has he taken the mark? He's been paid it. Oh, the kick off the ground, and Swallows, with any score you would imagine, at the 27.5-minute mark. Mark Micken.
Glenelg should have done better when they got it inside that 50. It came out too quickly. Glenelg had a little bit of luck this week. We'd say the Eagles may have had a tad of luck there with just a kick off the ground, landing in Schwartz's arm. Trevi, I think it was a personal kick off the ground, was it?
Schwarz shoots on goal and kicks it. The Eagles in front by that straight kick from Schwarz. Will that be enough? Can the Bays get a clearance and level it up again?
Well, I'll certainly need to get the clearance. Here we go. We said Simmons, it was actually off the ground. Just created an opportunity out, and I think Sherwood was right with him. Couldn't do anything about it, though. And that's pretty stiff from Glenelg. Very lucky for the Eagles, but he was good enough to go back and kick the goal. They need the centre break, Glenelg here.
Most crucial centre break of the game, and it's skirted wide, and there wasn't time. And for the 8th time in 9 seasons, the Eagles will play a preliminary final. The Premiers survive. They were almost down and out, almost run over, and they've miraculously escaped with a 6-point win over Glenelg. And you can see the disappointment etched on the faces of the Bays players, as you would expect. They can't believe they came back, almost able to get the victory, and the relief is obviously evident for the Eagles as we look at those pictures. The veteran Paul Sherwood there, just thinking what could have been, and that's the coaching group for the Bay.